Beck, one of our videotape operators, and Captain Beck and his team of champions.
Wow.
And they chose those trophies over a $10,000 purse individually.
Yeah.
That's how much playing for the gold means to this club.
You know what? If you win the Super Bowl, it's more meaningful to get the ring, forget the money. It's the same with the bowling. Forget the money, take the hardware.
That's right. Well, we had a lot of fun over there last night, but thanks to Bob Steinfeld for organizing the 4th
right
annual.
side of the line. First down.
The Western Michigan offense rides into DeKalb today to take on the NIU Huskies. Will Larry English and his crew get a homecoming boost and buck the Broncos? Husky football's coming up next on Comcast Sports Net. Everybody having a good time, getting ready for football. It's homecoming Saturday, Brigham Field at Huskies Stadium, the site. It's Mid-American Conference football, Northern Illinois style on Comcast Sports Net. Good afternoon, everybody. Alongside former college coach Bob Kamel, I'm David Kaplan. And Bob, this is really an interesting matchup. You have a high-powered offense in Western Michigan, a very solid defense in Northern Illinois. You look at the numbers, it's a cool matchup.
It really is. These are, I always said, the matchups within the matchups determine the success of a football team. And as you look at these statistics, what we're going to see here today is classic Mid-American football. Two well-coached football teams. Two teams that will get after each other offensively, that have the ability to move the football, to run the ball, to throw the ball. David, this is going to be great fun.
All right, now Tim Hiller is a big-time, prototypical pro-style quarterback. He makes Western go.
6'5", 228-pound sophomore. Not only is he a prototype drop-back passer, he has a great arm, but he has great athleticism. He will wreak havoc. They will have to keep the football inside and in front if the Huskies are to be successful.
All right, now one of the guys who's going to be in charge of trying to slow down that Western passing attack, Larry English. This guy eats quarterbacks for breakfast.
He's what I would describe as a swashbuckler. He's the heart of this defense. And talking to Mike Sabak, his position coach, he said, what you see on Saturday, I see from Monday through Friday, week in and week out. The kid is special. He's a National Honor Society young guy, very bright guy. Again, every defense has a heart. English is the heart of the Husky defense.
All right, it should be a really interesting matchup. Northern Illinois hosting Western Michigan's Broncos. Bob and I will be back with the opening kickoff. We'll set the starting lineups. It's all coming up. Northern Illinois football on Comcast Sports Net.
Hey Husky fans, shop online for all the latest Husky merchandise at niubookstore.niu.edu. We carry the best brands, Gear, Jansport, Russell, Vantage, Zephyr, and more. Shop any of our 3 locations, the Home Student Center, the Convocation Center, and our newest location at the Barcema Alumni and Visitor Center. Open 3 hours before game time for every home game. For the best Husky gear selection and prices, stop by today or shop online at niubookstore.niu.edu. That's niubookstore.niu.edu. Get reacquainted with an old friend, Eduardo's Mexican Restaurant in downtown DeKalb. Our simple but elegant dining room has been completely remodeled, including commissioned artwork by renowned Chicago artist Oscar Romero. But our great food hasn't changed. We still have the best selection of authentic Mexican dishes, including seasonal specials, all expertly prepared using only the finest and freshest ingredients, and served steaming hot to your table. Eduardo's Mexican Restaurant, downtown DeKalb.
Casey's, it's all good. Casey's, it's all right. Casey's, we make it any way you like.
Stop into Casey's General Store and get a 25-cent 2-liter with the purchase of any large pizza, plus tax and deposit not valid with any other offer.
Casey's General Store. Casey's, it's all good.
What's your reason for calling Empire today for vinyl siding? Quality brand name products? Our vinyl siding is energy efficient and maintenance free. Immediate installation? You can trust Empire today for a professional installation in just 2 weeks. On a budget? Save with warehouse direct prices plus no payments till 2009. Quality products, immediate installation, and no payments till 2009. All great reasons to call Empire today. Call now. 800-588-2300 today.
This broadcast of Northern Illinois Husky football is brought to you by Patty's Pub and Grill, the official tailgate home of NIU Athletics. Village Commons Bookstore for all your Husky clothing and souvenirs. Visit vcbs.com. Applebee's. Try Applebee's Carside to Go. You call it in, we bring it out. Casey's General Stores, the official convenience store of NIU Athletics. Casey's, a convenience store, and a whole lot more. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. I found it at Farm and Fleet. Jewel, we take one-stop shopping to the next level. TCF Bank open 7 days. The NIU MBA programs take the NIU MBA Challenge. Kishwaukee Hospital, health, heart, home, and Resource Bank, where banking is a pleasure. Brigham Field, Husky Stadium in DeKalb, Illinois. David Kaplan, Bob Kamel. It's a brisk afternoon, but it's perfect weather for football. And let's go down to the field. Third member of our crew, the outstanding Kenny McReynolds.
Much, David. David, you know, it has been a upside-down season for NIU since the last time we saw them here on Comcast Sports Net. Let's go back to the game that was played on September 15th at Eastern Michigan. The Huskies lose it 21-19. Brandon Davis with a touchdown there, but Eastern Michigan, they block a field goal. The Huskies had the ball on their own 39-yard line with 1:54 to play. They lose it 21-19. Then September 22nd at Idaho, NIU with a big block punt there. They scored 3 non-offensive touchdowns. They beat Idaho 42-35. Game 5, September 29th against Central Michigan University. The Huskies lose it 35-10, but they pile up 88 offensive plays, 521 yards, and of course Justin Anderson rushed for a big touchdown there, 157 yards. And then against Temple, Anderson with another big game, 163 yards. But Temple, they kicked the game-winning field goal with 9 seconds remaining. But as you guys know, this is homecoming. Anything can happen. It should be another exciting football contest.
All right, thank you, Kenny. That's right, homecoming Saturday. There's a ton of former alums back. Hey, Bob, I used to coach here. You used to coach here. I'm running into all of my old players. They're all hanging out here. They came back. The Hall of Fame inductions were last night. One of our players, Rodney Davis, went in. John McDougal, the legendary coach, was back here. So a lot of things going on in DeKalb. Let's take a look at your keys to the game.
Well, David, every football team has keys. Western Michigan, they have to get into an offensive rhythm. They cannot be disruptive. The defense cannot allow big plays. Keep the football inside in front of the defense. Defense is knowing where your help is at. Make Northern Illinois University play on a long field. How do you do that? Great kicking game. From Northern Illinois standpoint, they have to have the ability to run the football. Everything's predicated for Northern Illinois with the ability to run the ball. Be tough up front, be stout up front. Slow down Western Michigan University offensively. As I said, they need to get in the rhythm. Northern needs to take them out of the rhythm. All right. And again, as I mentioned before, special teams. And the last thing, David, I have to mention is talking about dealing with the psyche of two football teams that is a bit damaged. Bill Cubit, Joe Novak, they know how to coach football from the shoulders up.
All right, we are ready. The Northern Illinois University MBA program opening kickoff. Brandon West and Lewis Delmas are deep for Western Michigan. Chris Nendick, who is a Luke Rosa watch candidate for the best kicker in the country, had a rough week a week ago, missing 2 extra points. We are ready for football on Comcast Sports Net. We are underway. Driving kick into the end zone is going to be touched down by Brandon West, and that means Western will go on the attack. 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Let's take a look at the Applebee's starting lineups. There you have the starters on the O-line. Brost. That's actually, we've got the Northern Illinois starters there for you, so we'll get the Western Michigan starters for you in just a moment. There is Timmy Hiller. Sophomore quarterback, is a big-time player. Mark Bonds is the single back set, number 34
for Western Michigan, and they're going to throw on first down. They run the wide receiver screen. It'll pick up about 5 yards. Jamarco Simmons, one of their standout receivers, made the reception. It picks up 5 yards. I think they're going to mark it just short of that 25-yard line, Bob.
Well, that play right there, I like that call. That is a very safe call. It gives him an opportunity to just get settled into throwing the football. But when you see him come out, I mean, David, this is an impressive young man. As you mentioned before, 6'5", 228 pounds. And great arm strength on that throw.
Hiller's going to throw again on second now. Looks, throws, drops it off. It's going to be the football's come loose. And I believe Northern Illinois got it. And we'll wait. Yes, they do. Officials say NIU football. So the first big play of the day goes in favor of the hometown Huskies. DJ Perkle was the man that fell on the football.
David, Denny Dornbos, the Northern Illinois University defensive coordinator, preaches pursuit. Watch the pursuit here. Bam, bam, 4, 5, 6 guys around the football, and they pull the football out. Great job. Here he is again, stout. Here's the thing, a wide receiver looked at football all the way down in, 2 hands on the ball. 2 hands on the ball or not, Northern Illinois, give that defense great credit.
I think it was Zach Larson that knocked it free. Perkle making the start. True freshman, his first start. There's the handoff. And Northern back to their patented running game. Rips off 6 quick yards. Justin Anderson on the carry. And to those of you that are just joining us that were watching Texas and Iowa State, Texas wins it 56-3 in a blowout over Iowa State in Ames, Iowa. Welcome into Northern Illinois and Western Michigan on Comcast Sportsnet. I am David Kaplan, former college coach, longtime coach Bob Kamel, our analyst Kenny McReynolds patrolling the sidelines. Second down, and there's the handoff, and this one, a big gainer for Justin Anderson. Rips off a large chunk of yardage. Northern Illinois going to be in a first and goal situation, Bobby C.
Watch number 50, the center here, Eddie Adamski. Pulls out, number 59, Kevin Scatler. That is a big guy blocking in space. Great athleticism. Watch him pull. Watch him pull. He makes the play go. Never take for granted the ability of a big offensive lineman to block a smaller athletic defender in the secondary.
18 yards on the gain, and you're right, Scatrud with a big block. Anderson is third carry, and he's knocked down at the 5-yard line.
Basically, David, that was the same play, and why not? Run the play in the red zone until the defense shows that they can take that play away from you. Now you've got a chance to run some play action. I'd like to see a boot play, fake that send play, come out here with the naked boot, look for the tight end, look for a wide receiver in the back of the end zone.
All right, now we do have a change on the Northern Illinois lineup. Ryan Morris is the quarterback, sophomore out of Carroll Stream. Dan Nicholson, the regular, is not even dressed, folks. So he will not be available today. They dump it off to Anderson, and he will get back to the line of scrimmage, and that is all. Nicholson dealing with a troublesome ankle, injured a week ago. They hoped to get him ready for today, but he is unable to go. Here are the Applebee's starters for Northern Illinois. Anderson, Beckner, Brandon Davis, Marcus Perez, Matt Simon. There is the big O-line of Gross, Anye Buagu, Adamski, Scatrud, and the stud at left tackle, NFL hopeful Chris Acevedo. And there's Ryan Morris. Limited action, but he does have a very strong arm, and Northern Illinois believes he can be very solid back there. He's going to look. He's going to look. He's going to throw, and it's knocked down, tipped away. We'll take a look at the Western Michigan defensive starters. We'll get the starters for you in just a moment. And there they are for the Broncos. Marshall, Flom, we'll let you have 99, and Zach Davidson. You can pick that one up, Bobby. Allen for Northern Illinois. We'll set their backers for you when they get back on the field. And here is Nendick with a short field goal try. Kick up, and it is perfect. Chris Nendick nails it. 22-yard field goal against Northern Illinois. A fast lead off a turnover. 12:20 to go. We'll be right back here in DeKalb.
Advance your career with an MBA from Northern Illinois University.
I was able to balance my MBA with my professional life as well as my personal life. And best of all, NIU's MBA program is AACSB accredited and affordable.
I was impressed with the knowledge and experience of the professors, and the program provided me with a well-rounded business education. The affordability and convenient locations made my decision easy, and it made my MBA a reality.
Attend an open house in Hoffman Estates Monday, September 17th, or in Naperville Wednesday, September 19th.
NIU fans, when you enter the Village Commons bookstore, you're entering Husky territory. VCB is the official site for NIU athletics, featuring the new NIU logo on a wide range of hats, t-shirts, shorts, sweats, and NIU logo gifts and accessories. Whether you're a student, graduate, or a fan of NIU athletics, the Village Commons bookstore is your Husky headquarters. Visit us in DeKalb or call us toll-free 800-700-4868 or on the web at www.vcbs.com.
Welcome back in here to Brigham Field at Husky Stadium. David Kaplan, former college coach Bob Kamel. Well, the Huskies draw first blood. They get the field goal drive stalls at the 5. The NIU Alumni Association drive summary, and stay connected with myniu.com. 6 plays, 24 yards. It took 2:45, capped off by a 22-yard field goal by Chris Nendick. Brandon West is the deep man, along with Louis Delmas for Western Michigan.
Dave, one of the things with that drive, and I know the coaches will be looking at this diligently tomorrow, they had success running the football off the right side of their offense against the left side of the Western Michigan defense. In my mind of thinking, and perhaps obviously they see things that we don't see there with the team, this and that and everything, but I would have continued to run the football. I think they could have gotten the end zone and gotten 7 points.
Another deep driving kick. This one probably unreturnable. It is. He kicks it out of the back of the end zone. And Western Michigan's second possession will begin like their first at their own 20-yard line.
What a luxury. When you have a kicker that can kick the football into the end zone on the kickoff time and again, that is huge.
Huge. Doesn't allow any big plays to break your back. There's a look at Tim Hiller, the very fine sophomore quarterback, 6'5", 228 for Western Michigan. Up front, they've got Andy Lowy, Philip Swanson, Matt Williams, the anchors of that offensive line. The starters brought to you by Applebee's. Hiller rolling, pitches. That one fenced in, and it will be maybe a gain of 1. Maybe a gain of 1. Mark Bonds on the carry, and a host of red jerseys usher him to the sideline. We do have a man slow to get up for Northern Illinois, and I believe it's Josh Allen, standout linebacker, slow to get up, right side backer.
You know, I mentioned early on, we talked about Hiller being a prototype drop-back quarterback. I said he had great athleticism. Bill Kubit would not run option football if he didn't feel Hiller could do it successfully. And that tells you something about his athleticism. The other thing that play does, it gives Denny Dornbos something to think about up in the booth, the defensive coordinator from Northern Illinois, about defending option football. Because option football, from the defensive side, is assignment football. And what you like to do when you're Northern Illinois, you like to fly around. Now all of a sudden you think a little bit about option. Now you've got to get a hat on a hat.
And all of a sudden he drops back as a prototypical passing quarterback, and he burns you because you're in a different assignment. Brandon West is the deep man, the single man for Western Michigan. Hiller throws right on the money, and this one's gone. This one looks like it's headed to the house. Big play one, Nunez, and he steps out just short of the goal line. We'll see where they mark it. I believe it's going to be right around the 2-yard line.
Hiller's pass is completed.
David, this is a fundamental quick look in, but watch the way he delivers the football. And then we get into yards after catch with great athleticism. Single, that is a well-thrown football. Northern Illinois has to keep that football, as I say so many times, inside in front of the defense. They let it outside the defense, up the middle. That's the result.
Flags fly. We do have multiple flags as the ball is in the end zone, and I think it's going to be a false start penalty.
Well, that's when you run the hurry type of offense. Settle down.
Number 87, offense, was not set for a second. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Not set, false start, and that will be a 5-yard loss for Western Michigan.
Well, yet again, David, I question that, and I'm a big Bill Kubit fan. I think he's a fine coach. But, you just went 70-some yards downfield. Why rush it? Why rush up there and take the chance that you're going to get yourself out of the, inside the 5-yard line? Get up there, line up. You're a good football team. You don't need to go into that hurry mode.
Mark Bonds, the single back, and I believe we've got a timeout on the field.
Timeout. Western Michigan, their first timeout.
Hiller not happy. I don't think Hiller wanted a timeout. I think he had a question, and that's what they're arguing about right now. He is hot, Bill Kubit, as is Hiller. They did not want that timeout.
I agree, but one of the things right now they have to do is settle down, put that behind them, get into a play, as I mentioned, get into a rhythm. And again, that hurry inside the 2 or 3 yard line, that's good late in the game. Early in the game, get in the end zone. At worst, what happens is you kick a field goal and the score is tied. Excuse me. Kubit is very angry. Very angry. I don't blame him.
Let's take a look and see what you can see, Bobby.
I think he's looking toward the sideline. He is looking toward the sideline, trying to get the call. The officials evidently took a look at him and thought it was a call timeout. But again, put it behind you. You are basically inside the 10-yard line. Settle down. Run that quick slant. Run a quarterback draw.
Now, when you go on the road, as a former coach, when you go on the road, you want to get off to a good start, not let the crowd get going. Hiller, 3 for 3 for 86 yards.
Talk about a crowd, David. What a wonderful turnout here for homecoming at Husky Stadium and Robert Brigham Field.
Mark Bonds, the single back set. Hiller is going to throw. Looking, tosses to the end zone, nearly intercepted. That ball was nearly picked by Alex Kuba. Made a real nice play, Bobby.
This will be what we call a boot pass. He starts out one way. It's not a naked boot, though, because they pulled the backside tackle. Shoulder square, shows good arm strength. I wouldn't want to try to thread the needle that way. Young man might have ran into the end zone if he had the opportunity.
With that one nearly picked off.
You've got to put a little more air under that football when you've got a guy out there 6'5".
Hiller hands off to Bonds. Bonds driving, and he is inside the 5, knocked down close to the 3. John Tranchitella, linebacker out of Addison, just a sophomore, lost his starting spot today. First career start ever for Zach Larson in the middle. Tranchitella moved to a backup role, but he is the man that steps up and makes the play there inside the 5.
That's a fundamental isolation play with the fullback. When we say isolation, we are leading with the fullback. The fullback's the lead blocker. He is looking for a linebacker. The ball's handed off to the tailback, and he reads the block of that fullback.
Going to hand it off to Bonds again, and he is not going to get there. Bonds will be stopped, and it looks like it will be field goal time. Alex Crutch was the man who led the assault and made the play, clogging up the middle. So Western Michigan is going to kick a field goal.
The reason that play was stopped and Crutch was able to make that play is because the entire defensive line from Northern Illinois was pad under pad, and they played with great leverage.
Mike Jones, field goal up, and he's got it. And we are even at 3, 10:40 left. Right here in DeKalb, we got a good football game. 2 good football teams. Mid-American Conference rivalry continues on Comcast.
Give it to me, 1, 2, 3.
Introducing Applebee's new Ultimate Trios. Great taste, great big portions, and a great price. Choose 3 from 7 delicious options to create your ultimate flavor fest. Like our new 100% Angus beef mini bacon cheeseburgers. New crispy, plump, and spicy dynamite shrimp. And the new flame-grilled steak quesadilla tower. Ultimate Trios, ultimate platter at an unbeatable price. Only at Applebee's.
Give it to me.
Today, Matthew has no rules. Just joy. I like the snow. The snow tastes like popsicle.
He has no worries, just wonderment. Today, my son Matthew isn't a kid who is sick. He's just a kid with a wish to see snow.
My lucky day.
I'm hot, hottie jalapeno, the spiciest pepper in town.
Is that it? Come on, you gotta sell it, Brad. I'm hottie jalapeno, the spiciest number in town. Scissor. That's what brings the people in.
Sooner or later, we all need a vacation.
You gonna go practice at home?
Welcome back to DeKalb, Illinois. College football on Comcast Sportsnet. I'm David Kaplan. Bob Kamel, our great analyst. Kenny McReynolds patrolling the sidelines. Hollywood Todd Armour, our spotter up here in the booth. Marcus Perez and Evans Adonis, the deep men for Northern Illinois in a 3-3 football game.
David, it's just about what we anticipated on the pregame. I think this will be a very special game. And again, I can't emphasize what a great crowd we've got here today. Northern is Chicago's football team, collegiate football team.
And the Huskies, wow, big time tackle just over the 30-yard line. Boston McConnell absolutely lit up Evans Adonis.
And it's a good thing that he did, because
the size of that
Boston McConnell was the last line of defense. We would have seen that football going into that northern end zone.
Boy, that's a big kid.
Now here, if I'm Northern now, I'm coming out in this series, I'm going to establish the run. Establish the run to give this young quarterback Morris an opportunity to throw the football off of the play action.
Again, Ryan Morris, if you're just joining us, is the starter. Dan Nicholson is not in uniform, dealing with an ankle injury. Morris throws and misses his target, looking for his big tight end, Brandon Davis, but cannot connect, and it will be a second down situation. What kind of nerves is Ryan Morris dealing with today? He's had a little bit of experience, but it's homecoming, and he gets the start.
One of the things, David, everything that leads up to the game is what causes the younger players to, a little nervous, some anxiety. But once that ball is kicked off, you have to perform. And that's where he's at right now. That ball should have been thrown properly. It should have been caught.
There's a handoff, turn the corner, and it will come up short of a first down. Promising play. Marcus Perez was the man carrying it. London Fryer, the man that came up and made the hit.
What we're going to see here is a little bit of, a little bit of counter football. You see one of the backs going in one direction, another back going the other direction. The more football changes, the more it stays the same. We used to call that an old cross buck. One going one way, come back the other way with the football. They are not settling into a rhythm here offensively. This offensive play calling right now from Northern's standpoint has been just a bit of grab bag.
Ryan Morris is West Chicago High School product out of Carroll Stream, Illinois, 6'2", 203. Finished as the number 2 man. We've got a timeout. Northern Illinois, that's their first charge timeout at the 9:44 mark. As a coach, did you get frustrated when you had to burn timeouts in the first quarter?
Sure. I don't think there's any question. I mean, you do get frustrated. I still would like to know what happened with Western Michigan inside the 5-yard line and call it, that timeout will loom large before this half is over.
But it looms larger in the second half, doesn't it?
Yes, but at the same time, when you talk about a first half or a second half of football, I hear now that a team played a good second half or a team played a good first half. Anymore in football, David, the way you see the parity in football, you have to put 2 good halves together. You win the first half, you make your adjustments, you come out, you win the second half, you win the football game. But again, I'd like to see Northern get into a little bit of a rhythm here. They're really, a quick screen, then a counter play, then an end around, this and that and everything else. Settle down. You were moving the football in the initial drive off tackle, pulling Scatwood, the big left guard, looked more like Joe Novak football at that time than it does now.
All right, here we go. A 3rd and 3 situation at the 40-yard line, their own 40. Morris flushed, rolling. Still looking, stops, throws it away. Throws it
out of bounds. And so Northern Illinois will be forced to punt the football away. He was looking for Matt Simon, but really, Bobby, he had no chance on this one.
No, he didn't. Credit this play to the Western Michigan secondary. Everybody is covered. Although Morris here shows some athleticism, absolutely, and maturity by throwing the football out of bounds. Instead of trying to throw it downfield, make something happen early in the game, or throw the ball across his body. Nice job there of getting rid of the football, albeit in a difficult situation.
Dick Benner to punt to Schneider Julian. Deep driving kick, and he's going to catch it inside his 10, and he's going to make some yardage up, and he will be knocked down at the 26 or 27 yard line. When you coached it, did you used to tell your guys inside the 10 we don't touch the football, or did you allow a guy to make a play if he felt he could?
You know, there's a lot of factors that go into that decision. One of those factors is it a windy day? Is it a crosswind? Is it a side wind? You know, or what happens is with the special teams coaches and the special teams people, when you come off the field before the pregame, after the pregame, I mean, you talk to the head football coach about all the factors that are involved in whether you're fielding the ball or kicking the ball and everything else. I'd like to see him field the ball just the way he did there.
Mark Bonds, the single back set, and they're going to run the football first down, and Bonds with a big one. He will rip off a chunk of about 13 yards. Bradley Pruitt made the tackle down the field, but Western Michigan's getting their offense running downhill here.
Well, it's just a fundamental backside trap. They pulled the guard, he comes around. The back showed great patience. It's not just, watch the little stutter step. See? There it is right there. Now to the outside. You've got a fundamental mismatch when you watch that running back attempting to be tackled by that defensive lineman. Great job, though, by Crutch getting up in there, though.
Brandon West, tail of the tandem. He's going to run the football on first down. And a gang of red shirts going to knock him down. Led by, I believe, Josh Allen, number 9, came up and made the hit. Corey Hansen was also in on the stop.
You hear me talk about pursuit. Denny Dornbos, the defensive coordinator, and I coached together at the University of Michigan. And the byword for great Michigan defenses is pursuit, the great defenses they've had. Denny brought that with him wherever he goes to coach. What do I mean by pursuit? 11 people to the football on every play.
Hiller out of the shotgun, looking, throws, and it's behind his man, and it is dropped. Herb Martin had him wide open, Bob.
Herb Martin should make that catch. When you see the pro scouts up here, the catches that are easy catches, okay, they don't turn heads. But if you have to adjust to the football and reach back, that's when you start turning heads as far as your potential to play at the next level is. Just a little bit turned behind him. You want to see a guy make an adjustment, choke his motor down, and look for the football. That was zone coverage. He should have stopped just where he was at.
A 3rd and 7 situation. Hiller, empty backfield out of the gun, looking, and he's going down. He is going down in a heap. Anthony Mason and Larry English combined to bring down the quarterback, and that will mean a punting situation for Western.
This is just wonderful coverage by the secondary, forcing Hiller to take more time than he should. But again, Larry English, watch this guy. Great pass rushers just keep coming and coming and coming. I talk about a swashbuckler. I mean a guy that fights on every play and will not be denied. Gosh, he's an impressive young guy.
Marcus Perez is the deep man. Punt is away. Perez going to catch it inside his 20, come up the field, up the sideline, ducks out of bounds, right around the 30-yard line. So that's going to be where Northern Illinois will start their next possession. We'll see where they spot it. I think it's going to be right around the 30 is where they'll mark it. Maybe the 29-yard line. Yes, the 29.
David, you asked Earth's English. Look at this young guy. They say he's a weight room guy. That's a weight room guy.
Yeah, I would say. You see those arms?
Oh, my goodness. Mike Sabach coaches him. Mike has been here 24 years. This program is very, very fortunate to have a guy like Mike Sabach. He's coached in the secondary. You know, he's coached the outside linebackers. He's a great recruiter. He's afforded Northern Illinois to have continuity in the coaching staff. Now, Larry English, Aurora, Marmion High School, honor roll student, Bronco Nagurski watch list.
Justin Anderson tries to pick his way across the 30, may have gained a couple. Dustin Duclos was the man that knocked him down.
David, there is some serious contact going on in that field. I mean, some of these hits can be heard in Sycamore.
Oh, man. You know, you think back to when you were a child and you played, or a high school kid, you didn't feel them. Now you're up here and it hurts just to watch.
Well, it's been a long time since you and I have played football in the backyard.
Long time. Hand off Anderson, knocked down, driving, thrown back. It's going to bring up a third and fairly long situation. You're going to have still 6-7 yards to try and pick up.
This football game, and not to sound trite, but this football game is going to be decided up front. You talk about two offenses and two defensive lines that are getting after each other. These guys are getting after each other.
Nick Varcatapane was the man that made the hit.
Glad you finally got that down.
Took a little while. Had to practice off air. Morris drops, tosses Anderson, trying to pick his way, turns the corner, and he's got a Northern Illinois first down with a real nice job on a screen pass. Louis Delmas made the stop.
I don't call a screenplay being executed. I call it being choreographed. Everybody has to be right in the perfect position to make those plays, to make the blocks. This young guy from Steinmetz High School in the Chicago Public League, 5'11", 22-pound sophomore. Nice job. Knew where the sticks were. Always know where you're at on the field.
Well, I
knew what it took to move the
say
sticks.
that E.J. Biggers is definitely going to know who Jason Buagu, I think I got that one right. He just absolutely lit him up. And here's a halfback pass, wide open. Simon to the end zone. Touchdown, Northern Illinois. Marcus Perez the toss, Simon the touchdown. Give him 6. A little razzle-dazzle, Bob.
This is a wonderful, wonderful play. Here's the deal. He is under duress. How did he get that football away, David? I mean, he took a big, big hit there, but he hung in there.
That was a great throw. You may have just found a new quarterback. Wow! Chris Nendick. Snap, set, perfect. And Northern Illinois has this crowd in a frenzy. What a play. A wide receiver pass. Simon catches it. Touchdown, NIU.
It's our pride in the red, white, and blue. It's our commitment that always comes shining through. It's everything that you need.
Always find what I need.
You can get everything here.
Always have good service. Got everything we needed.
The hardest working people in America find value at Farm and Fleet.
You've got brains. Time to use them. Get your new Toyota at Oak Brook Toyota in Westmont.
Employee pricing. Buy a new Toyota like we can. Camry, Corolla, Highlander, RAV4, FJ Cruiser, Sienna, and more. Employee pricing.
There's only one, Bob Rohrman.
You owe it to yourself. Bob Rohrman's Oak Brook Toyota in Westmont. Just 5 minutes west of the Tri-State on Ogden Avenue, Westmont.
At Rosita's Restaurants.
10-3 Northern Illinois. Everybody here buzzing over the trick play just executed by Marcus Perez, who absolutely got obliterated. Here's the handoff, the wide receiver coming on. They ran this play once where he ran it. He gets crushed, but he gets the ball off. Simon catches it. Biggers has no chance to get him. Simon in the end zone, touchdown. But I'm telling you, Bob, Perez is shaken up. He got popped.
I will tell you what made that play go. Perez made the play go because he had the ball tucked in his far arm. He took off like it was a run. Everybody came up. The only way you can run that play successfully is to sell the run.
First career touchdown pass for Marcus Perez. 4 plays, 71 yards, took $1.57 to get it done. 59 yards on the touchdown. That's the NIU Alumni Association scoring drive. There's the kick coming down at the goal line this time, and it is Not going to get back to the 20. A flag comes in very, very late. And we'll wait to see what it is. If somebody's helmet came off, maybe we've got a face mask. Ricky Kreider made the tackle. We're waiting to see what this penalty is. And it is a 15-yard unnecessary roughness face mask on Northern Illinois. And you can tell Joe Novak not happy about it. Let's take a look at the replay, Bob.
I mean, talk about a little bit of shake and a go. There it is right there, David, with his left hand. Kreider had him with the left hand, the far hand away from us, but really not that visible. But it was a good call.
They're still working on Marcus Perez. You could tell that he took quite a lick on the chin, but threw that touchdown. Mark Bonds, the single back set for Tim Hiller and the Western Michigan Broncos. Bonds knocked down just short of the 30. DJ Perkle, the freshman out of Frankfort, Illinois. 6'1", 295, getting his first career start at nose tackle. There he is as he limps to the sideline, but he made the tackle on that play.
For a redshirt freshman to come in and make a play like that, David, again, leverage. He's very, very well coached.
And there's a gang of red shirts. Jamarco Simmons carrying Alex Kuba on the tackle.
You know, I mentioned pursuit earlier. You are going to see 9 red jerseys around this football. Oh, and what a marvelous tackle. You know, 2 things I say in football are dying art, David. Number 1 is tackling. Number 2 is fakes by the quarterback. You know, we're seeing a surprising amount of chicanery here in this first half.
Bobby. Brandon West now back in the backfield. Hiller nearly fumbled the snap. Looking, going down the field, and overshoots Simmons. This is his man, and it's a 4th down situation. Prior to that, Hiller 3 of 5 for 86 yards. Bonds 4 carries for 19. Nunez 1 catch for the big 77 yards, but he was knocked out at the 3. Northern Illinois' defense, aided by that false start penalty, stiffened and held him to a field goal.
Well, Tim Hiller's going to, as you watch the maturation of a quarterback, he had one throw in mind at that time. He has to look across the field. He has to go into progression, and he has to look off receivers.
Matt Simon's got Marcus Perez's job right now as the punt returner. Simon's going to catch it at the 22. He's going to make a move and turn it upfield. And so he is absolutely leveled by Boston McConnell again. McCornell. Boston McCornell is as impressive a tackler as I've seen in a while.
Just talked about open field tackling. I mean, never take it for granted. And you know, what he did right there just before he came in the tackle, just break down a little bit and make sure you're pad under pad. But you know what that play is right there? I describe that play as want to. He is a want to type of football player.
That was a big-time tackle, but let's go down to the sidelines. Our Kenny McReynolds has an update on Marcus Perez. Kenny?
Yeah, David, Marcus took a shot to the jaw like you said, but he said he's okay. Once they stop the bleeding, he'll be back in the ball game. He's okay.
That's a football player, Bob. Once they stop the bleeding, I'll be right back. Justin Anderson rips off 12 yards and a Northern first down.
What makes this play go yet again is the backside guard, Kevin Scatrud, number 59. Watch him turn and block in space. He turns and he pins the defender to the inside, permitting the play to go to the outside.
Let's get a quick look at the tackle on the kickoff. This is a big-time hit.
Oh, my goodness.
That's Boston McCornell. That guy can tackle for me anytime if I ever coach football. Wow. Handoff, Justin Anderson up the middle. Knocked down right at the 50-yard line, maybe at the 49. Nick Varcanapane. Getting good at that one, huh?
Yeah, we mentioned early on that this would be a classic Mid-American match, and thus far it is, and nothing is going to change as we progress through this football game. This is a big hitting football game. Big hitting. I mean, these young guys, obviously, Bill Kubik's done a great job after that terrible loss to Akron at the very end of the game to bring his football team back mentally.
Simon, the man in motion. Morris, hands again. Justin Anderson picking his way. He is just into Western Michigan territory, but it's again going to bring up a 3rd and about 6.
I like the play calling. I like this play calling. Now we get a little play action pass, and we're in business here if you're Northern Illinois.
And Marcus Perez back in the football game.
David, I can't tell you how impressed I was that he even reared back and threw that football. A lot of guys would have headed to the sideline.
Ricky Kreider, the single back set. Morris throws and he misses. Justin Anderson, don't think he would have picked up a first down anyway. The Huskies and Andy Dittbenner will punt the football away.
Whether he caught this football or not, we were still going to be in a 4th down situation. That was wonderful, wonderful coverage there. You know, one of the things, again, David, as I mentioned before, Northern right now, a little hard hitting on offense, you know, coming out and, you know, establishing the toughness of the game, a little bit yet out of rhythm
and we got
offensively.
We've got a fake. Did they get the first down? Football's loose. Who's got it?
The question here is where if forward progress was stopped prior to the fumble.
We're going to find out right now.
Well, they are conferring.
And it will belong, I believe, to Western Michigan. They're going to mark it short.
It will be Western Michigan's ball. On 4th down, number 57 fumbled the ball. He must recover the ball also. He did not. Western Michigan, 1st down.
There you have it.
Good call. Good call.
Zach Larson.
Joe Novak says, we'll pull out all the stops. Snap the ball to the up back, fumbles the ball. He has to recover that football in that situation, as the officials had mentioned.
Brandon West is the back, but Hiller's going to roll and throw. He dumps it off and misses his man. Looking for his big tight end, Ledbetter.
That play was doomed from the get-go. I mean, when you run, you know, crisscrossing or counteraction, and you run the counteraction pass off of that, it takes an awful lot of time. And there were a couple of receivers that were out of the area that they should have been in. I mean, you know, that little dump right there wouldn't have gotten anything anyway. Probably better off that it wasn't complete.
2nd and 10 situation for Hiller and his Broncos. We near the end of the 1st quarter. Hiller hands it off West. West turns it up. West is knocked down. Mark Ryder, one of the men that flew up to make the hit.
Mark Ryder with the stop for the Huskies.
You know, there is so much at stake for both of these football teams, and the way the contact's going now, that's very evident. This is just a little bit of an off-tackle play, pulling the backside guard, leading up. Once again, the hallmark of a great defense is good pursuit. Great pursuit on that play.
3rd and 6 situation for Hiller. Barks out the signals, under center. Hiller looking, gets it away, and it is intercepted. Mark Ryder, the man with the pick. Ryder up the sideline, out of bounds, and it's Northern Illinois football, and a flag flies. I believe we've got a personal foul coming up. Late hit on the Broncos.
David, this one is on Tim Hiller. He had the wide receiver open. It was an errant throw. Comes straight drop back here, great protection, a lot of time, looks off just a bit. Ball was totally overthrown. Take nothing away from the defender, though. That was a wonderful interception of being in the right place at the right time. He's in center field. He's in center field. That's 3 deep coverage. 3 deep coverage, 3 men across the back, and that center fielder in that situation, or the free safety, he has license to go where he wants.
And they are going to pick the flag up, Bob. Does that surprise you?
Yes, definitely. I thought it was a late hit out of bounds.
Let's take a look again. There's Bill Cubitt, the fine head coach at Western Michigan. Now there's Ryder. He is headed. He is out of bounds now. And
well, incidental contact.
He really does try to miss him. I don't think that's a penalty.
Incidental contact with her feet. I think, again, looking back at it, Joe Novak obviously wants the penalty. That was incidental contact with her feet. He was trying to pull up.
I think the officials did a good job and got that correct.
Excellent job. Good call.
Toss Justin Anderson, trying to pick his way, and this one's going nowhere. We've got a flag that flies. It could be in the area of holding. It could be. Anthony Gebhardt led the tackling gang. He's out of Addison, Illinois, a homecoming for him. We'll see what the call is, though.
That is in the area of a holding.
And it might be on Matt Simon, the wide receiver.
Holding. Number 85, penalty is declined. 2nd down.
Matt Simon, you could tell he was on an island. He had a real problem. There was 3 white shirts with the little wide receiver trying to block, and he couldn't get away with the clutch and grab.
Well, here's what you have to do when you're a wide receiver. If you're going to clutch and grab, as you say, as long as your hands are inside the framework of the defender's body. Once you reach out, look for the yellow flag.
Anderson picks his way. Anderson makes a man miss and makes it a much more manageable situation.
David, what is amazing is I watch offensive line play in this day and age. 6'5", 310, 6'6", 316, 6'2", 282, 6'2", 310, but they are athletic. You know, as I do my research for these games as well as you do, all these big guys play basketball.
It's unbelievable.
They all play basketball. If you want to evaluate an offensive lineman, go watch him play basketball. To be a fine offensive lineman, you have to have the ability to move your feet make great offensive linemen.
Final play of the first quarter. Morris looking. He throws, and it is knocked away. Intended for Marcus Perez. Morris pressured back there. C.J. Wilson was in coverage. Morris just doesn't look comfortable right now because he's not getting a lot of time to throw.
No, he is being rushed here. But at the same time, one of the things he's doing is, you know, throwing the ball out of bounds like that. I mean, I like it. Throw the ball to the far shoulder. At least maybe the ball will be caught. If it's not, it's going out of bounds. It shows a little bit of maturity, but he is totally out of sync right now.
Should he have stepped up in the pocket there as the rush came? Because he threw up his back foot. It makes it very tough to complete.
That's difficult to say, but you know, as you mentioned, he does not look comfortable.
That punt will go into the end zone from Dittbenner.
And we've got another penalty here.
We have another flag. Boy, we have seen more yellow laundry here in the first quarter than I remember in a long, long time. We'll find out what the penalty is.
I think this is going to go on Harrison Porter, number 51. Linebacker out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida for Western Michigan. Whoa.
Wow, we've got a 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty against Western Michigan. All right, we're going to take a timeout. We'll sort it all out. Northern Illinois, a 10th grade lane at the end of one quarter, an action-packed quarter. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Team up with the Huskies. Join the Husky Athletic Scholarship Fund today, where your financial support assists in providing a world-class academic and athletic experience for 488 student athletes.
54 Cresida Academic All-Americans.
Highest department GPA in the history of NIU athletics.
MAC West champions in football and men's basketball.
We can't reach our goals without the help of the Husky Athletic Scholarship Fund members.
Call 815-753-1923 for information on joining the HASF.
LASIK eye surgery for $39 a month? Yes, you can. Now choose LASIK eye surgery at the Hauser Ross Eye Institute for only $39 a month or 18 easy monthly payments with no interest. That's right. Affordable payment options make freedom from glasses and contacts closer than ever. For only $39 a month or 18 easy payments, experience what thousands already know. If you've ever thought about seeing life without glasses or contacts, then now's the time to discover Hauser Ross. LASIK eye surgery at the Hauser Ross Eye Institute. Now affordable as ever. Call 1-800-CHECKUP today.
The Range Rover Sport. With complimentary scheduled maintenance, visit your local Land Rover Center.
All right, they had one more play because of the penalty that they had to run at the end of the quarter, and it was a 1 or 2 yard. Actually, they're going to mark it as a 3-yard gain. 2nd and 7. The quarter has just ended. So, at the end of one quarter, Northern Illinois, a 10-3 lead over the Western Michigan Broncos. David Kaplan, Bob Kamel, and Kenny McReynolds with you here in DeKalb, Illinois. And Bobby, a great crowd, as you mentioned. A nice day for football. It feels like a football day.
It's a classic day, classic Midwest day, classic Mid-American Conference football. You know, with the quarter changing here, Tim Hiller again, more of a drop-back type quarterback than, you know, a rollout type guy. He's got the wind at his back right now. And that wind, as I look at the flags down here in the north end zone, I mean, the wind could very well be significant.
Now, they are also honoring someone here today, the late Bud Nangle, the longtime Hall of Fame SID here. They're showing many tributes to him on the scoreboard right now here between quarters. But they have dedicated the press box to the late Bud and his wife Joyce, who was unable to be here today. Bud and Joyce Nangle press box. And there is Jim Phillips, Dr. Jim Phillips, the athletic director. As you see, they're making that announcement. Mike Korsick on the left, who is now in the Hall of Fame, retired as the SID, replaced Bud Nangle. Was here for many, many years. Mr. Husky right there in the black and red jacket. But a very nice honor done by Dr. Jim Phillips in Northern Illinois. The Bud and Joyce Nangle press box being announced here today at Northern Illinois. Let's take a look real quick at the stats from, you know, after this snap, we'll get you the stats. 2nd and 7 situation for Western Michigan. Hiller looking, throwing, he's got his man. That will be a Western Michigan first down. Ledbetter made the catch. Bobby, take us through the stats.
Well, the rushing yards, basically, you know, 28 for the Broncos, 59 for Northern Illinois. One of the things that I see as we look here, it's very, very close, and it's indicative of the score of the game. This has been kind of an ebb and flow, a back and forth type of football game.
Hiller wide receiver screen incomplete. Could not hit his man. He was looking for Jamarco Simmons. Do want to say hello to a dear friend who's a huge Northern Illinois football fan. WGA Radio Spike Odell is out in Galena and just sent a message, said he's enjoying the game with his lovely wife Karen, and they are having a good time watching Husky football. So Spike, have a good Saturday, and thanks for watching at Comcast Sports Net.
2nd down and 10 for Western Michigan from their own 26.
Mark Bonds is the single back set for the Broncos. A 2nd and 10. Hiller, same exact play. Simmons is going absolutely nowhere. Huskies smelled that one out, and it'll bring up a 3rd and long situation. Corey Hansen and Chase Carter came up and made the hit.
One time too many going to the well with this play. As defenses start to get into recognition, they practice against it. They see this. It's like putting information into a computer. You know, after a while, you start to do things instinctively, defensively. And I'll tell you something, I wouldn't run that play yet again today. You mentioned Jim Phillips coming off the field. Jim Phillips, as you watched him come off the field, Dr. Jim Phillips, maybe one of the best athletic directors in the country.
It's unbelievable what he's accomplished. We'll talk about that a little later. Hiller finds his big man, and it's going to be very close to a Western Michigan first down. Brandon Ledbetter. Bradley Pruitt made the tackle. Let's see where they spot this.
On a gain of 9 yards.
They're going to spot it, I think, just short, Bob.
Just short, David.
I think it's going to be inches.
Bill Kubik looks on, you know, start thinking, yo, Ledbetter, know where those sticks are. Know where those sticks are. Give me a little lean. Become a fullback after. That's just what he's talking to him about. Know where the sticks are. Ledbetter comes here from Fort Lauderdale, St. Thomas Aquinas High School. You talk about a great football tradition, but as you go through this roster from Western Michigan, they do have somewhat of a pipeline to the state of Florida.
Now, they're going to punt the football away. Marcus Perez is deep. As a coach, are you thinking, oh, we got to go for this? We can make a half a yard?
No, we have to punt the football here, David. Have to punt the football.
Deep kick. Perez has it at the 10. He turns it up the field, out of bounds, right around the 23, 24-yard line. We'll see where they spot it. Northern Illinois goes on the attack. 12:46 left in the second. They lead it by a touchdown.
Fatty's Pub and Grill in DeKalb is your official NIU tailgate headquarters. Whether you're catching the game on our side-by-side plasma screens or enjoying some of our famous grilled food, Fatty's is the place to be. Game tickets and tailgate passes are still available for Fatty's Ultimate Tailgate at the University of Wisconsin when the Huskies take on the Badgers on October 20th. To order, stop by Fatty's in DeKalb or go to fattyspub.com. It's all at Fatty's Pub and Grill, located just south of Husky Stadium in DeKalb.
At Jewel, it's the fresh way we trim, slice, serve, the fresh way we grind, prepare, fish. It's offering the freshest variety, the best poultry, beef, pork, seafood that's oh so fresh, and help from our experts in store. Top quality, great service, all fresh to your family from Jewel.
12:46 left in the second. It's Brigham Field at Husky Stadium on a beautiful homecoming Saturday. The chill in the air, Bobby, but that means it's football season. Justin Anderson picks his way across the 25 and a gain of maybe a yard and a half or so. Northern's very much committed themselves to the run here, especially with Dan Nicholson not in today at quarterback. Ryan Morris really hasn't seen a ton of action getting the opportunity.
Well, I think running the football the way they have, they're very prudent. You mentioned Morris not having that much experience. Now, what happens is they start to load up in the box, Western Michigan, bringing people closer and closer to the football. You have a little success running, then you detach the football and throw it downfield.
Justin Anderson, that play goes nowhere. He's going to lose a yard to bring up a 3rd and 9. Zach Davidson, the run stuffer out of Racine, Wisconsin, stepped up in the hole and made the play.
He's their most veteran football player in that front. And again, a young guy that plays with a lot of leverage. Racine, Wisconsin, Washington Park High School, great football tradition, great high school football tradition.
When we get a moment, I want to run down the injury report for Northern Illinois, the list from this season.
It'll take more than a moment, my friend.
Yeah, it'll take more than a moment, my friend. It's exactly right. And Morris will burn Northern's second timeout of the first half. And that will give us time to go over the injury report.
Perhaps.
Let's take a look at key injuries for Northern Illinois. Get your pen and paper out. You better have a lot of paper. Tailback Montel Clanton was the starter. Torn ACL in the right knee, surgery on September 8th. Nose guard Adam Schroeder, right shoulder, surgery on the 1st. Defensive tackle Craig Rush, torn ACL right knee, surgery on September 15th. Same day, the doctor went from one operating room to the next because DN Anthony Antonacci also tore the ACL in the right knee. Defensive end Jake Kaufman, foot injury, surgery on the 22nd. Tight end David Karankowicz dislocated his right elbow. He has now returned, but then got hurt again with a torn elbow ligament. Done, surgery on the 22nd. Linebacker Saul Ibarra, left foot dislocation, out for the season. Running back Cass Prime, right knee out indefinitely. And I'm not even halfway through as Ryan Morris just gets lit up at the 15. Zach Davidson absolutely made a play.
Once again, we mentioned Zach got a call in the previous play. He's the most veteran player. He has the opportunity. He's become more analytical, not only physically, but, you know, from a mental standpoint. And again, relentless pass rush, and a big hit. You show me a guy that keeps coming and will not be denied, and I'll show you a fine pass rusher.
I mean, his helmet came flying off. That was a big time hit. Dick Benner's punt. This one not going to be very far, and it's going to back up, and Northern Illinois will catch it and down it at the Northern Illinois 42-yard line.
You know, we showed the flags a bit earlier, the flags on top of the stadium, and they were still. But if you look at the flags that are below, exactly. That's what, there they are. That what caught that football and caused it to turn over and make it difficult to field. You know, I remember not being able to practice one spring on a particular day because it was so windy in Husky Stadium. You couldn't talk. You couldn't hear the person standing next to you. Called practice off and practiced another day.
Mark Bond, single back set for Hiller, and it's a trick play. And they will run the football, wide receiver, end around. It's going to be a pretty good game for Julian. Schneider Julian took the handoff, the toss, after the fake to Bonds, and it's a pretty good gain. It will move the sticks, and Western Michigan in business at the Northern Illinois 29-yard line. By the way, to put a bow tie on that package of injuries,
yes,
there are 14 more that I haven't mentioned of guys that have dealt with either season-ending or fairly serious injuries that caused them to miss time. Hiller, delayed handoff to Bonds, and Larry English leads the way, knocks him down. Zach Larson was also there, and Mark Ryder.
Larry English, this young guy, watching him play football, it's like a highlight film. If I were a defensive line coach and I was going to speak at a clinic, I'd get this young guy's tape. And that's how you play defensive line football. That's how you play football up front. And it's all about leverage. It's about being pad under pad. It's about controlling.
And 254 pounds. Hiller looking, dumps the screen off to Mark Bonds. He's up the sideline and belted down at the 15-yard line. Western Michigan is on the move. Alex Kuba made the hit. Bradley Pruitt a little slow getting up. Larry English at 254, Bob. As you see, Bonds is a little banged up. He got lit up.
This is a well-executed play. Hiller looked to his right. And don't ever take that for granted. You look to your right just a little bit, that secondary starts to break that way. Then he came back, found the receiver, and that's why the play was successful. He looked it off.
Hand up to Brandon West, in for Mark Bonds. And he will pick up maybe 3 yards. 254 pounds. If an NFL scout watches Larry English, he says, love the motor, love everything about him. Can you put enough weight on him in today's game to play in the NFL at D-end, or do you have to move him to backer?
No, you couldn't move him to backer. He would be used in special situations, third down situations. He's relentless. He's tough. He's smart. They say he's just a great, great kid.
Brandon West turns the corner, and he's knocked down, and I think he's going to be short of a first down. Bring up a third and about 1.5. Tranchatella over from his linebacker spot. Ryder over from his safety spot to knock him out.
The entire left side of Western Michigan's offensive line gets a great seal. They get a great seal to the inside. That play cannot be run successfully. It's almost like the old days when, you know, the punt where everybody got down one side and the guy ran up the tunnel. Basically, it's the same thing. You got to seal to the inside and get him to the outside.
The third down and short. Hiller hands it to Mark Bonds, and Bonds is going to be turned away at the goal line. I mean, as close to the goal line as you can get. Ed Jackson and Mark Ryder, the men that stopped him. It will be first and goal.
You know, one of the things, when you watch these big guys pull and trap, as I mentioned before, and when they pull and trap, that back has to be patient and showing great patience and great pad level. You know, what I mean by pad level, David, is after a while, you've got the big guys up front. They're blocking for you. When you get your pads down, you sink your pads down, you keep your head up, and now you become your own best blocker. Now you play a leverage game with the defenders.
Well, that ball is nearly touching the goal line. They stop Bonds short. Western Michigan hands it Bonds. He's in. Touchdown, Western Michigan. Mark Bonds doing the honors, and we are an extra point away from tying this football game up.
Boy, that center, Robbie Kratula, 6'3", 314 pounds. What a block. Watch Bonds turn his shoulders at the very end. Zingo! Made himself smaller. That's what you do. You make yourself a smaller target. That's instinctive.
Mike Jones with the PAT attempt. Snap, set, kick. It is good.
Good job by the holder there, Jim Laney. That was not a perfect snap. Laney adjusted to it, got the ball down. Nice job by the holder, Laney.
All right, we'll tell you about that scoring drive. 8:13 to go in the second. We're tied at 10.
The verdict is in. The College of Law at Northern Illinois University is one of the nation's most respected law schools. At NIU Law, top students are part of a tight-knit, dynamic, and diverse learning community. Small classes give them unmatched access to some of the best legal scholars in the country, and state-of-the-art technology prepares them for today's courtrooms. Many NIU law students even get hands-on legal practice before they graduate. That's why so many successful lawyers and judges hold degrees from the NIU College of Law. NIU Law. Discover the difference.
Attention, credit counseling does not work. Did you know that the credit counseling companies often receive kickbacks from actual credit card companies you owe money to? The truth is, the average debt counseling program takes 7 years to complete and may end up costing you thousands of dollars in additional interest. We can do better. As the largest bankruptcy firm in the country, we can provide you with an immediate and inexpensive way to get rid of your debt once and for all. Call 1-888-7-HELP-US for a free confidential consultation or visit us online at legalhelpers.com.
Hey Husky fans, shop online for all the latest Husky merchandise at niubookstore.niu.edu. We carry the best brands, gear, Jansport, Russell, Vantage, Zephyr, and more. Shop any of our 3 locations. The Home Student Center, the Convocation Center, and our newest location at the Barcema Alumni and Visitor Center. Open 3 hours before game time for every home game. For the best Husky gear selection and prices, stop by today or shop online at niubookstore.niu.edu. That's niubookstore.niu.edu.
Welcome back on Comcast Sportsnet, our college football coverage of Northern Illinois University and the Western Michigan Broncos. It's homecoming weekend here. Let's take a look at the scoring drive for that Bronco offense. 8 plays, 42 yards. Took 2:27 to get it done. And Bonds, the 1-yard touchdown scamper. And we are even at 10. Jones will kick it off. Driving kick going to come down right at the 8. Marcus Perez stumbles. Marcus Perez still on his feet. And this one's going to get Northern Illinois very good field position at the 38-yard line or thereabouts when Ryan Morris and company go back to work.
David, Bo Schembecker, the late, great Bo Schembecker, used to say, in a game like this, if you don't have a mind for the fray, don't step out onto the field. This is a big hitting football game. These guys going down on kickoffs, the way they're blocked back and forth, talk about emotion. This is a classic. This is Mid-American football. The fray, David.
The fray.
The fray.
If you don't have a mind for it, don't step out there.
Don't step out there.
And a little bit of trickery. Justin Anderson lined up at quarterback. We've got a flag. Take a look at this setup.
This is where the defensive coaches, they have a coach upstairs, a defensive coach, and he's yelling down on the field, it's not the quarterback, it's not the quarterback. And the guys on the sideline are yelling, look out, he's not the quarterback, he's going to run the ball.
Ball start. Offense penalized 5 yards. Remains first down.
You know why that happened? Because he's not the quarterback, and probably got into some type of a cadence, into some type of a rhythm that offensive line was not used to. Tough play. Tough play. There was an old, years ago you could run a quarterback sweep. Those days are over. Defensive linemen are so big and so fast. Forget about it.
Now we go back to the conventional style on 1st and 15. Hand off Justin Anderson. Nothing doing whatsoever. You got to really credit Western Michigan. Dustin Duclos was the man that made the hit. But since the initial couple drives, they have really done a good job, Bob, at bottling up that inside running game.
Why? Because they're fundamentally sound up front. You saw Duclos there. He kept his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. He didn't turn his shoulders. That's good linebacker play. You turn your shoulders, you give yourself only a one-way go. Your shoulders stay square, you give yourself a three-way go. Left, right, or straight ahead.
Morris going to throw. Looking, throws, got his man. Simon, the big catch. Credit excellent blocking up front to give Morris time to throw the football. C.J. Wilson made the tackle, but Bob, this is big-time blocking.
Why? Look at the play action. He sold the play action fake. Look at these offensive linemen fighting, battling, scrapping up front. They want to protect that young quarterback. They want to let him have a little bit of success to build on, Credit the wide receiver settling in the dead spot in the zone. Morris right now, he comes alive. He starts to gain a little bit of confidence. Just watch his body language as he progresses through this drive.
Well, I want to see that again because Chris Acevedo, they're talking about him as a high draft pick in the NFL. I mean, he is doing an unbelievable job. And another big throw. Simon again. And Acevedo had his back again with outstanding blocking.
Now Morris, as I said, watch his body language. Now you watch this left tackle.
Watch this.
Look at his feet. Look at his feet. Look how strong he is. Now, I'm going to tell you something. You take a drill, it's called a mirror dodge drill. You take an offensive lineman, put a defensive lineman in front of him, and he just mirrors that defensive lineman. It's the best drill in football. It's called a mirror dodge drill. And all you do is stand in front of the defender, keep your shoulders square. But the way he punches with the strength that he has even adds to his great abilities.
That kid is a big-time player. Handoff, Justin Anderson breaks a tackle. Justin Anderson rips off 5 yards. Northern Illinois is at the 14. Zach Davidson again over to make the tackle from his defensive end spot.
Well, you talked about Acevedo. They call him Ace. He was setting pass blocking on the play before that. This time he drove block and took his man down inside. He's from Curry High School over on, Pulaski and Archer?
Very good.
Yeah, Curry High School. Played for his uncle Louis Acevedo. I know who that guy is. Well-coached young guy. This guy will play on Sunday, David. He will play on Sunday.
Ricky Kreider and Justin Anderson went over and sat on the bench, was holding his arm. Kreider knocked down at the line of scrimmage, but he was waving to the trainers, don't come near me. No, I don't want to talk to a trainer. But he is sitting on the bench underneath the stands right now. You could see he was in a little bit of pain, and now he has popped back up. He was holding his hand.
All right, you connect the dots on this fact, my friend. Acevedo, you mentioned him. Who's his hero? Doug Flutie. A bit of a discrepancy there in size and position.
We got a guy 6'5", 310 who likes a guy 5'5", and 110.
He likes a battler. He likes a fighter.
But Flutie could play. Morris looking, throwing, and it is caught. It will be short of a first down. Brandon Beal made the catch. The throw a little low, and he had to go down to get it.
You know, we're watching the maturation of a quarterback here. A young guy, 6'2". I mean, good play action fake there. Nice job at the back picking it up. A bit underthrown. He caught that ball on the run. He may still be running, David. But I like what we're seeing here.
He's a little frustrated with himself because he saw pressure coming and he may have just gotten rid of it a little quick and threw it low. Snap, set, field goal is good. And Northern Illinois back in front, 13-10. We will talk about that scoring drive after this on Comcast Sports Net.
Hey Husky fans, shop online for all the latest Husky merchandise at naubookstore.niu.edu. We carry the best brands, Gear, Jansport, Russell, Vantage, Zephyr, and more. Shop any of our 3 locations, the Home Student Center, the Convocation Center, And our newest location at the Barcema Alumni and Visitor Center. Open 3 hours before game time for every home game. For the best Husky gear selection and prices, stop by today or shop online at niubookstore.niu.edu. That's niubookstore.niu.edu.
If only life were like an Apple vacation. Apple Vacation's unmatched service makes travel easy, so you can experience the vacation of a lifetime, every time. Now book an all-inclusive vacation to Grand Palladium Colonial and Continental Resort and Spa, 7 nights from only $899.99. Visit America's favorite vacation company at applevacations.com.
By Brad Boyd and head coach Joe Newman.
13-10 Northern Illinois over Western Michigan. Take a look at that scoring drive, Bob Kamel. For Northern Illinois, 7 plays, 51 yards. It took 3:16. Nendick doing the honors with a field goal to put them back in front. 13-10, 28 yards the distance on the field goal. But Chris Acevedo, that's his highlight reel because this guy can flat out block.
Well, credit him and the entire offensive line. But as I mentioned, we're seeing the maturation of a young quarterback, having success, building on that success.
Anthony Gebhardt and Brandon West, the deep men. It's going to be West. He's got the kick. Here he comes. Finds the seam and will be knocked down around the 27 or 28-yard line. Chad Spann was there to make the stop. And now Western Michigan back on the attack. 4:44 to go, second quarter. David Kaplan, Bob Kamel, and Kenny McReynolds here in DeKalb, Illinois.
You will not see Bill Kubit sit on this with 4:44.
Hiller looking. Throws, dumps it off to Bonds, and a real nice open field tackle by Josh Allen, the linebacker, came up and dropped him in his tracks.
You know, as I said before, you will not, he is, by sit on it, I mean he's not going to remain conservative. Obviously, you're going to try to do the best to move the football downfield. But you get a guy 6'5", look how well he went through his progression. Looked over to the right, looked back over to the left. That's what you want to see. This young guy here is, I mean, I'm very, very impressed with him. 6'5", 228, sees the entire field, strong arm,
and just
fundamentally sound, and just a sophomore, as you say.
Hiller dumps it off, and that will come up just a bit short. Flags fly. We'll see what the penalty marker is. But again, it was Brandon Ledbetter.
It's a clip, David. It's a clip. He should have pulled off, let the play get what it, I mean, you're out there, everybody sees this. It's going to be on Ledbetter. It's going to be a clip.
Brandon Bice was the man, I think, who was knocked down. See if we can get a look at it.
This is where discipline is critical. Know what's going on the field. This will make Bill Kubit very angry. Very angry.
You can tell.
Illegal block in the back. Offense, number 88.
Excuse me.
10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, second down.
Brandon Ledbetter, I apologize.
They'll get Anthony Middleton, and here it is. Watch it as Ledbetter turns the corner after making the catch. And here comes the block.
Let it be.
No doubt that he got his hands in there.
No
he tried
doubt
to
about
pull
it.
up at the last second. It was Chase Carter was the man, I believe, that got shoved. Hiller looking, pressure, dumps it off. And a gang of red shirts were there, led, I believe, might have been Zach Larson, the middle linebacker. Juan Nunez, his second catch of the day. He had the one big catch for 77 yards.
A little bit here, a little bit of presence by Hiller. He's under duress. Good throw. I mean, he takes a big hit.
Yeah, Alex Kuba was in his face. 3rd and 9. Crowd gets into it again. Hiller out of the gun. Looking, throws, and it will come up well short of a first down. He found Ledbetter. Alex Crutch came over and made the hit. And Western Michigan looks like they're going to punt the football away. Yes, they will. Here comes the punt team now.
Hiller needed to look across the field from right to left before he dumped that off. He had two receivers right here that I thought were in excellent position to make a catch.
Matt Simon again in for Marcus Perez now on punt returns. Punt is away. Driving kick coming down at the 25. Simon picking his way. He'll return it for about 8 yards on the return. And the Huskies will have it with 2:13 left, leading by 3. Greg Marshall made the tackle in special teams for Western Michigan. What do you expect as you look at the numbers out of Matt Simon? Big day today, 3 for 107 and a touch. But Bob, what do you expect out of Joe Novak and his offense here? Because they have a young quarterback who has not seen a lot of action. They have the lead. Do they try and go down the field and surprise him?
I would run the football. Absolutely run the football, get a first down, move the sticks, be prudent with the clock, good clock management from the coaches up in the booth, and then take a shot.
And that's what they're going to do. Justin Anderson. Justin Anderson flies for a gain of 6 probably. Clock ticking towards 2 minutes. Greg Marshall made the tackle.
Talked about prudent use of timeouts. First half. Northern Illinois, 1 timeout left. Western Michigan, 2 timeouts left. Clock management. You have one coach in the booth. Give him that responsibility. Clock management.
Justin Anderson trying to pick his way, turns the corner, bounces it out. He's up the sideline, cuts it back, still on his feet, headed to the end zone, knocked out at the 10. Wow, what a run by Justin Anderson. London Fryer was the man that prevented the touchdown.
Justin Anderson shows great patience here. Watch as the play develops. The defense expresses itself. He chokes his motor down, then he jumps to the outside. He sat behind that block, and now he's off to the races. A little bit of a cutback right there. Everybody's involved. One man to beat. David, when he sat behind that block, that's what made that play. Then he squeaked out to his right, and he was gone. Excellent run.
52 yards on that run. 1:31 to go. Again, Anderson. And he is knocked down just short of the 5-yard line. Let's see where they'll spot it. Be right around the 6 or 7. C.J. Wilson, a Chicago kid.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Harold Etheridge, the offensive line coach for Northern Illinois, should be credited with some fine technique by his guys up front.
Again, Anderson trying to get to the corner, and he will be knocked down at the 10. Really good tackle. Louis Delmas came over and made a great play. A lot of talking going on out there, Bob.
I'm not surprised with all the hitting that we've seen. Watch Delmas here. Come up, analytical, shed the block, shoulders square, head down, brings his legs, good open field tackle.
A 3rd and 10. Do you throw the football here?
Yes, I'm going to throw the football for some type of a crossing route, perhaps underneath, or to the tight end or the wide receivers. I run it out of play action.
They're going to run it. It's Anderson, and he'll be knocked out. So they take no chances. It will be a 4th down. Boston McCornell again in on the stop. This young man has really come to play. Look at the size of that upper body.
He's a good-looking football player. I don't run a play-action fake there, David. I'd have got him out of, fake it to the left. The run is working well. Come out on a boot action and give him a run-pass option to challenge the corners.
Jeff Fontana, the holder, the regular holder. Greg Turner still out with an injury. Injured holding a couple of weeks ago. Chris Nendick and Fontana starting to get some chemistry last week. 2 missed extra points really cost Northern dearly in a 15-14 loss.
David, holders and kickers, critically important. You have a great kicker, and you change holders in a game for whatever reason, injury or by substitution, and it could throw the kicker off completely. They are together all day, every day. They are inseparable usually. When the game is in the balance, you want your regular holder in there. Unfortunately, this young man is injured. There's Mike Sabach, the fine assistant for Joe Novak, also works with the special teams. Mike, as I mentioned before, has been here 24 years.
And one correction, it was 16-15 last week,
16-15.
not 15-14.
Joe Novak looks at Mike Sabach and he said, "Can he make it?" Coach will have to see.
Nendick nods, says he's ready, and again we are delayed.
Timeout. Western Michigan.
You've got the timeouts, use them, right?
Absolutely. There's 15 seconds left in the game. I mean, anything you can do to disrupt a kicker. Hey, we had a kicker here when I coached with Coach Corso at Northern Illinois. We were going through pre-game, for the first time as a staff and everything, and he called him over. I won't mention the young guy's name. Coach Corso called him over the sideline. He said, "Well, what do you like to do if they ice you, if they call timeout again?" He walked up to Coach Corso and he said, "I'd like to come over to see you for some encouragement."
Oh, you gotta tell us who the kicker was.
No, I'm not. I am not.
I'm gonna have to dive into the archives at halftime and find out who was kicking that
I'd like
year.
to come over and get some encouragement from you. Well, everybody does it different. Some guys stay on the field, some guys go to the sideline, some guys talk to the holder. It's the psyche. It's what they do.
I read an article about Gilbert Arenas, the NBA star. You know how he gets loose at the half?
No.
He plays online poker in the locker room. How about that? Snap, set. The kick is up, and it is no good. So Nendick misses a short field goal. Wow, that one is going to really upset Joe Novak to come away with no points.
And if I was an offensive lineman, that's a chip shot. These guys have fought from where the drive start, the 15 or the 20-yard line, giving their all. That's the least you can expect, is all these kickers do in practice is kick. You got to make that kick. You know when guys are worried the kicker comes off the field, don't be upset. Is he on scholarship? Yeah, okay, then I can be upset if I'm a coach. I'm serious, David. You know, offensive linemen up and down the field, and all of a sudden you get those points.
All right, that's going to do it for the first 30 minutes of football. We've had a real entertaining first half. We've got lots coming up for you at the half. Kenny McReynolds will be with you. We'll have stats, we'll have highlights, and more of Bob's great analysis. And Kenny will talk with Joe Novak here in just a moment, but it is 13-10, Northern Illinois over Western Michigan. 2 more quarters to go. Chris Nendick mired in a little bit of a slump, but he is a quality kicker. Lou Groza Award watch list, but a couple of missed extra points a week ago and that missed short field goal right there. Sure, very disappointing to him. There's Justin Anderson. He had a whale of a first half, has run the football very effectively.
Well, you take the psychological aspect of missing the field goal at that point in time also.
Let's go down to Joe Novak with our Kenny McReynolds.
Okay, David, Coach, your thoughts on the first half?
Well, we're playing, so we got to get those field goals when we're down, and we got to get points when we can. Defense has played well. Can't give them big plays.
The young quarterback, your thoughts on his play?
He's played soundly. That's what he needs to do. No big mistakes. He had a couple great throws here to get us down the field. He's got to continue to do that mistake-free.
Okay, good luck in the second half, Coach. Okay, David, back upstairs to you.
All right, thank you, Kenny McReynolds. So 13-10, Northern Illinois over Western Michigan. We've got halftime festivities coming up on Comcast Sportsnet. The Fatties halftime coming up.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty good job, innit, when you think about it? I mean, basically, I help people save money, don't I? Like, I tell people they could save hundreds by switching to Geico. They go to geico.com, maybe save all this money on car insurance, and the next thing you know, I'm like invited to their wedding or whatever. One bloke actually asked me to be his best man. Dear oh dear. Anyway, look, don't matter. Look, point is, if you want loads of friends, giving away money, it's not a bad idea.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Casey's, it's all good. Casey's, it's all right. Casey's will make it any way you like.
Stop into Casey's General Store and get a 25-cent 2-liter with the purchase of any large pizza. Plus tax and deposit not valid with any other offer.
Casey's General Store. Casey's, it's all good.
It's probably nothing.
Weeks later, today.
Four Seasons, the largest family-owned and operated heating and air conditioning contractor, has simple goals: provide exceptional service at the best possible price, and offer products that leave you nothing but satisfied. Call Four Seasons Heating and Air Conditioning today for a free estimate.
My name is Steve Corsi. I'm a lawyer, and for 20 years I've been helping people receive the Social Security benefits they deserve. Anyone who can't work due to a medical problem can apply for benefits from the Social Security Administration. If you are denied benefits, you have the right to appeal. Having an experienced lawyer on your side can help you win your case. Call the law office of Stephen Corsi today for more information or to discuss your claim. Let us help you receive the benefits you deserve.
Hey Husky fans, shop online for all the latest Husky merchandise at niubookstore.niu.edu. We carry the best brands: Gear, Jansport, Russell, Vantage, Zephyr, and more. Shop any of our 3 locations: the Home Student Center, the Convocation Center, and our newest location at the Barcema Alumni and Visitor Center. Open 3 hours before game time for every home game. For the best Husky gear selection and prices, stop by today or shop online at niubookstore.niu.edu. That's niubookstore.niu.edu.
Welcome back to Husky Stadium, where the Huskies have a 13-10 lead over the Broncos. I'm Kenny McReynolds here at halftime with Carol Owen, the head basketball coach for the Lady NIU Huskies. And Coach, practice started yesterday. How did it go?
It felt great to get on the court and work out with our kids. I'm glad that they moved that hour a little early so they can get to bed, because we had practice this morning. So I'm just really excited for the season to start.
How excited were the young ladies coming back from a team that won 19 games last year?
I think they're pretty excited, but they've done a really good job of getting our freshmen acclimated and all of our returnees and redshirt players just adjusted. So I think we're all excited, but I think the one thing that we're working on right now is our chemistry.
Well, this early in practice, I know chemistry is going to be the big thing, but you have a lot of incoming ball players. Tell us a little bit about the new basketball players.
Well, we had 2 transfers that sat out last year. Eileen Russo, who's a transfer from Auburn University, and also Cherie Welton, who's a transfer from Wisconsin, and now they're eligible to play. We have 3 freshmen, all 3 freshmen, their junior year in high school, won state championships. And that's Marveline Adams from Bolingbrook High School. We have Bianca Brown from Detroit, Michigan. And we have Charmaine Bell from Iowa. So they come with a lot of energy. They're very confident. And the one thing I like about them, they know how to win.
You can't beat that, a youngster that knows what it takes to be a champion.
Yeah, that's right. When you've won so much, then that's hard for you to settle for losing, and that's what we needed, and I think that's what they're going to bring this year.
I had an opportunity to talk to a Chicago Public School high school basketball coach just yesterday, and he told me the one thing he loves about you and your staff, that you are making it known that you want to recruit the Chicago Public League.
Well, E.C. Hill and I are both Chicago natives, and we stay right in state, and I think it's important that we get the Chicago area players here at Northern Illinois. I mean, we're just down 88-90, where they can come down and get a great education and also be competitive, and hopefully we'll return to glory like we did when we were players.
You talk about returning to glory. Your schedule, I had a chance to look at your schedule. You're not ducking anybody.
Oh no, oh no. This is what it's all about, all right? We want, in order to be one of the best teams, we got to play some of the best teams. We're going to play the Big East teams. We're going to play the Big Ten teams. We're going to a tournament in Cancun, and it's some of the best teams, top 25 teams in the country, and we want to be a part of that.
Do you need a sideline reporter for Cancun?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The more the merrier.
The more the merrier. Coach, when you talk about coming up to Northern Illinois, when you go into a parent's home, are they really impressed with the academic academics of NIU, where the entire athletic department has a GPA of better than 3.0.
I think that's impressive. I mean, we're one of the top 30 teams in the country that has a 3-point GPA or above, and that says a lot about our academic support group. I mean, they really support our students. We have a lot of resources here to make sure our kids are successful, and that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, the people. And a lot of times people don't know how good of facilities that we have. We have, you know, our convocation center, a nice arena, and we also have the Jordan Center that's opened up this fall. So we're a lot of things are moving, and with the help of Jim Phillips.
Well, you know, you talk about the Jordan Center. Yesterday I was up here and I go into the computer room. It's a beautiful sunny Friday afternoon. There are a couple of your basketball players there a few hours before your first practice working on papers.
Well, it's important. We value it, and they know it. And from the staff on down, when we say how important our academics are, the kids are going to put the work in because they know it's number one on our list in terms of our program.
Let me ask you a final question. Style of play. What can our viewers look forward to seeing your team? What's going to be your style of play?
Well, hopefully we'll get into where we'll be a more up-tempo team, a better defensive team. We want to score a lot of points. In order to do that, we got to start on the defensive end, and we want to push the ball as much as possible.
There's nothing like getting up and down the court.
That's
you won
right.
19 last year. Let's go for 25 this season.
I hear you. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, this is Carol Owen, the head ladies basketball coach here at Northern Illinois University. We're at halftime. The Huskies have a 13-10 lead. We'll be back with more halftime following this brief timeout.
NIU fans, when you enter the Village Commons bookstore, you're entering Husky territory. VCB is the official site for NIU athletics, featuring the new NIU logo on a wide range of hats, t-shirts, shorts, sweats, and NIU logo gifts and accessories. Whether you're a student, graduate, or a fan of NIU athletics, the Village Commons bookstore is your Husky headquarters. Visit us in DeKalb or call us toll-free 800-700-4868 or on the web at www.vcbs.com.
At Jewel, it's the fresh way we trim, slice, serve, the fresh way we grind, prepare, fish. It's offering the freshest variety, the best poultry, beef, pork, seafood that's oh so fresh, and help from our experts in store. Top quality, great service, all fresh to your family from Jewel.
Advance your career with an MBA from Northern Illinois University.
I was able to balance my MBA with my professional life as well as my personal life. And best of all, NIU's MBA program is AACSB accredited and affordable.
I was impressed with the knowledge and experience of the professors, and the program provided me with a well-rounded business education. The affordability and convenient locations made my decision easy, and it made my MBA a reality.
Attend an open house in Hoffman Estates Monday, September 17th, or in Naperville Wednesday, September 19th.
Empire makes living easy with windows that are worry-free. Our triple-pane windows are energy efficient and feature self-cleaning glass. Plus, you get a lifetime limited glass breakage warranty. Call Empire today and we'll bring a wide selection to choose from. We install in just 2 weeks. Saving is easy too with warehouse direct prices. And no payments till 2009. Get new windows with just one call. Doesn't get easier than that.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
Welcome back to Brigham Field at Husky Stadium. We are at the half. Good afternoon, David Kaplan and Bob Kamel with you in a real interesting football game. A lot of offense, not a ton of points put up, but we've seen some real explosive plays.
Well, the story of this football game is basically the Northern Illinois defense and the maturation of Ryan Morris as a quarterback. And give a lot of credit to Northern Illinois' offensive line. But getting back to the defense, hell, this is a high-power offense from Western Michigan. Northern Illinois' defense is doing a magnificent job of keeping the football inside and in front, as I mentioned. Great job job of tackling and great play calling from the defensive side of the football by defensive coordinator Denny Dodenbos.
All right, let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first half, and there were plenty of them. We had plays through the air, run after the catch, as Nunez exhibits on one of those big gainers.
This Hiller, he's only a sophomore, 6'5", 228 pounds, classic quarterback. He is just progressing even as this game progresses in his ability to read defenses. Give him a lot of credit, a lot of poise in the pocket.
There's Northern making a very good defensive play. Mark Bonds did find the end zone, but the Huskies were able to stiffen there early in the game. Larry English combining with a big sack right there. And then also look at that throw by Marcus Perez to Matt Simon on a gadget play.
Marcus Perez sold the run. In other words, he had that defense thinking run, run, run. But the way he sat there patiently and threw the ball, David, to me, that was the play of the first half.
There's the interception, the only interception in the first half, and it was Northern Illinois' Mark Ryder who made the pick after he'd made a big hit the previous play. And there's Bonds picking his way for the lone Western Michigan touchdown of the first half. And then two real good throws Joe Novak talked about with Kenny McReynolds, finding Matt Simon as they were able to get themselves down the field and set themselves up for a field goal.
David, this is classic Mid-American football. This is as physical a football game as you'll see anywhere in the country today.
There's Justin Anderson. Real big run, led to the field goal and gave Northern Illinois that lead. Let's take a look at the first half stats here in our Fatty's Pub and Grill halftime report. Rushing yards, big time advantage for Northern Illinois.
That's the whole story again of this first half. The rushing yardage, 114 to 54. You have to be able to run the football if you want to play balanced football. You have to be able to run the football to get the respect for the play action pass. This success running the football gives Ryan Morris the opportunity to settle in with some of the throws that he's made and gain confidence. The offensive line of Northern Illinois has taken over this football game, and it is very impressive to watch.
All right, let's take a look at the TCF Bank scoreboard report here at halftime. Go through some of the MAC scores. Ohio State, that's a tough task for anybody to play. 48-3 over Kent State. Look at that shootout. Ohio beats Eastern 48-42. Buffalo gets by Toledo 43-33. Ball State over Western Kentucky 35-12. And how about that one in the fourth? Miami drilling Bowling Green 37-7. Central Michigan at the half all over Army 33-16. So real interesting as you look at the second half for this one. You got a young quarterback for Northern Illinois who was pressed into service when Dan Nicholson couldn't play with the ankle injury. You've got a big-time quarterback on the other side, but Justin Anderson's ability to run the ball behind Acevedo, that could be the key.
What also is going to be the key are the halftime adjustments. I look for Western Michigan to come out with some blitzes that they haven't shown in the first half, and to get young Mr. Morris under duress and maybe get him a little bit rattled and then go from there and hope for an errant throw. The other thing is, you get the ball down inside the 15-yard line, you have to come away with points. I know all about kickers and this and that and the psyche of kickers. That was a chip shot. That kick should have been made. He's a better kicker than that. You have to come away with points, especially in a football game like this.
Our guy could go down right now and coach on the sideline. He's been coaching us up here in the booth. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. Second half action's coming up. Stick around. We got a good MAC game going here in DeKalb.
Fatty's Pub and Grill in DeKalb is your official NIU tailgate headquarters. Whether you're catching a game on our side-by-side plasma screens or enjoying some of our famous grilled food, Fatty's is the place to be. Game tickets and tailgate passes are still available for Fatty's Ultimate Tailgate at the University of Wisconsin when the Huskies take on the Badgers on October 20th. To order, stop by Fatty's in DeKalb or go to fattyspub.com. It's all at Fatty's Pub and Grill, located just south of Husky Stadium in DeKalb.
Of course Geico sponsors Mike's Race Car because they insure everything race car fans love. RVs, motorcycles, ATVs. Tell you one thing they can insure. Lauren Wallace. Because Lauren Wallace is made of lightning. Those guys are like, hey, where's Lauren? He was just here a minute ago. I'm 100 miles away, son. Ready to strike.
Geico, saving you money on insurance for your car and the other stuff that moves you.
Team up with the Huskies. Join the Husky Athletic Scholarship Fund today, where your financial support assists in providing a world-class academic and athletic experience for 488 student athletes.
54 Cresida Academic All-Americans.
Highest department GPA in the history of NIU athletics.
MAC West champions in football and men's basketball.
We can't reach our goals without the help of the Husky Athletic Scholarship Fund members.
Call 815-753-1923 for information on joining the HASF.
Hi, I'm Heather Headley. Did you know that Black women are more at risk for premature birth? That's why I'm working with the March of Dimes in the fight to save our babies. Join us. Together we can make the research and education possible to help more women get their 9 months. Contact the March of Dimes today. Saving our babies. There's nothing more worth it in the world.
Hi, I'd like to return this Honda CR-V.
Yeah, once you drive a car off a lot.
Because I bought it before I saw that Mazda CX-7.
Sorry.
Then I heard the CX-7 has more horsepower. It also has a 5-star crash test rating, and folding down the second row seats is easy. Plus, it's getting some great reviews. Look, I saved the receipt.
Get a 2008 Mazda CX-7 front-wheel drive sport for $249 a month for 24 months with $2844 due at lease signing. Discover a better way, the Zoom Zoom way, at your Mazda dealer now.
Welcome back. We are getting ready for second half action. So is Coach Bill Cuban, who is with our Kenny McReynolds.
Okay, thank you, David. Coach, what did you tell your team at halftime?
Well, you know, we got to stop the big plays over on defense and playing pretty good defense. And offensively, our offensive line needs to just take control of this football game.
Will it be one big adjustment you're going to try to make?
No, you know, I think we're playing pretty well. We're just not, you know, we're just not moving the ball on the ground like we like. And if we go out there and make them get an extra guy in the box and then throw it over the top, you know, we'll be able to move the football. But I feel half decent right at this point.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, David, back up to you.
All right, thank you, Kenny McReynolds, the man of sartorial splendor. Bill Cuban's an impressive football coach. His teams really do a great job offensively. It's interesting to watch them play. They're high-powered.
David, one of the things he does, he mentioned an outstanding job. He is the offensive coordinator for all intents and purposes. He can develop quarterbacks. And, you know, we talk about a football team reflecting the demeanor of their head football coach. Bill Cuban, very, you know, businesslike. That's the way his football team plays. And I think he will come out in the second half and make some adjustments. The onus now is going to be on Northern Illinois' defense to keep that stymie type of attitude where they're not going to move the football, where we are going to make big plays. But I do look for Western Michigan's defense to come up with some blitzes. They have to rattle young Mr. Morris a little bit because right now he is starting to get into a little bit of a rhythm.
Now let me ask you this, though. You look at Western Michigan, and Bill Cuban just said, it's on my offensive line. That's who he's got to start to dominate. Larry English has been a guy that is very tough to handle. Let's take a look at him against Idaho. Bobby, he's got to be on people's minds.
Oh, absolutely. You have to double team this guy. When you do that, you leave someone obviously free. He's relentless. He is totally relentless. He is a football player's football player. I mean, he's just all over the place. But this guy is a fun guy to coach. And Mike Sabak, I mentioned before on the pregame show. Mike Sabak coaches this young guy. There's Michael right there congratulating him, I believe. And he said, Bobby, from Monday till Friday, what you see on Saturday is what I see 5 days a week. He practices that way. And you achieve what you emphasize. He sets a tempo for the entire defense. David, every great defense has a heart. He's the heart of this defense. He will play on Sunday, David. Even if it's just in a role of a situation, specialist, the pastor, a specialist, a third down guy. You know, when you're talking about the young guy and talking to Michael, he said, Mike Sabak, he said he's just a quality young guy. He was an honor roll student in high school. He's a student of the game. He's a leader. Well, you put a couple guys. You know what he reminds me of a while back when I coached here? Doug Bartlett. Doug Bartlett, Sacred Heart Griffin High School. I mean, Doug Bartlett was that kind of a guy. Again, the term I use, a swashbuckler, a guy that hangs in there. He's fighting, scratching, kicking. He's gonna make the play. He will not be denied.
Northern Illinois will take over possession here. That ball's going to go and stay in bounds. Wow, I thought that was definitely headed out of bounds. Nice job by the Huskies to fall on it. Evans Adonis let it hit. Now take a look at this replay. Evans Adonis lets it hit. He's expecting it to jump out of bounds, but it backs up like a good sand wedge. And now he says, uh-oh, and he makes the play. That's very perceptive.
Good awareness. Good awareness. That could have been a catastrophe.
Running play to get things started for the Huskies. Justin Anderson, who rumbled for over 100 in the first half. Boston McCornell, the linebacker, up to make the stop.
McCornell just rejected the big offensive lineman from Northern Illinois. He hit him on the rise. He brought his legs. What a collision. What a play.
That Get kid's impressive. Boston McCornell, I haven't seen many guys hit like that. Morris looking, going down the field and misses his man. He was looking for the big tight end, Brandon Davis.
David, we're going to see a little bit of pass interference here. If there is such a thing as a little bit of pass interference, it's pass interference.
We need to get our guy a new mic. He's having some troubles hearing the official, but it will be a penalty on Western Michigan, and it will be an automatic Northern Illinois first down.
It was pass interference away from the football. It was on the free safety in the deep third of the field.
Give it to Justin Anderson, picking his spots, cuts it back, and he will be knocked down, and the football's loose. The football came loose. Western Michigan saying they've got it. The officials will unpile it. We will see what they say here, and it's Western's ball. So the first big play of the second half comes at the 14:04 mark. Western Michigan recovering a Justin Anderson fumble.
Recovered by Dustin Duclos.
Dustin Duclos made the recovery.
Good cutback here. Good cutback. Put two hands on the ball there, young man. Great job, right? Great, excellent defensive play. Getting a hand inside. Duclos, credit him with a great play. Now, coaches on the sidelines yell, sudden change. How does the offense react? How does the defense react to sudden change?
They're going to run the football. Mark Bonds breaks it across the 20, and he will be escorted out. They'll call it short of the, right around the 6 or 7 yard line. Alex Kuba was the man that made the stop. Big play, Mark Bonds.
Bill Kubit mentioned, I think Bill Kubit had a little talk with those offensive linemen because they got an excellent push. You talk about a well-coached running back, you see him start to go to the sideline, put that football in the forearm. Nice job. That is a little thing, but it shows up, is indicative of a lot of the things, the way he's being coached.
And I think we're going to have, again, the second time we've seen this, where they hurried to the line in the red zone, in a goal-to-go situation, and I think they hustled too quick. False start penalty, 5 yards, move them back. That run, 32 yards. 32 yards by Bonds. Watch this.
How the hole opens up right there. They are escorting the defensive front of Northern Illinois to one side of the field. He sees that lateral crease, and he takes it.
Bonds, 11 carries, now 62 yards. Hiller looking, throws underneath. It'll be knocked down right around the 6 yard line. Brandon West made the catch.
Excellent play selection there by Bill Kubit. Excellent play selection. David, this amounts to an elongated handoff, so to speak. In other words, it's very safe. The safest throws are the shortest throws that are most in front of the quarterback. He came across, found that soft spot in the zone. Now what you have to have after that is yards after catch.
Hiller barks out the signals in a goal-to-go situation. Hiller pressured. Hiller escapes the sack, tosses to the end zone, and is it intercepted? It's a touchdown, Western Michigan. Northern Illinois not happy felt it was intercepted, but it is a touchdown for the Western Michigan Broncos. Brandon Ledbetter is at the bottom of that scrum and made the catch.
Hiller made a nice adjustment of sliding to the outside and keeping his eyes forward and his shoulders square, viewing the entire end zone. That was an excellent job by Tim Hiller.
Now they unpiled and Mark Ryder had the football in his hands, but the officials say the catch is good and the touchdown belongs to Western Michigan, and they've got the lead.
Watch him just slide to the outside, keep looking, shoulders square, nice touch. I don't think a replay or anything would have changed that call.
No question about it.
Great presence by Hiller.
I think they're going to review it.
It would be really tough to get a look at this to determine a change in this call. You don't see Hiller, David, after a while, a quarterback doesn't have to look when he's under duress. It's almost like a sixth sense. He slid to the outside, slid to the outside. The other thing I liked was he squared his shoulders up. Why that play was successful? Because he gave himself a run-pass option. I mean, a little pump fake maybe, they come up, you throw the football, they sit back, you run the football in.
Now they have charged Northern Illinois with a timeout. Joe Novak wants an explanation why it's not an interception. Here's another look at it from ground level. There's Hiller's toss. There's Ryder and Ledbetter fighting for the football. Ryder feels that he got it. The officials unpiled it, gave the touchdown to Western Michigan.
This will be very difficult to change. I don't think it will be changed. I mean, there are 4 people around that football. Yet again from another angle. Here he slides, good presence, good job of the offensive linemen staying on their blocks. That's a jump ball, highest point. You know, this is like a basketball deal, David, like a jump ball in basketball. You are telling that if he's going to throw the ball up, you want the defender to be at the highest point as well as the receiver. Highest point, there he is. Basically out-jumped him and pulled the ball into his body. This will not be overturned, I don't think.
The officials are discussing it, and that is what the delay is.
You know, you've heard me mention this. The NFL way of going over this, it always seems to me that it's a lot quicker than at the collegiate level. And, you know, you make that call, it stops play, people are on the sideline, you know, what's going on, and it changes the ebb and flow of the game. I'd like to see these decisions made in a more expeditious fashion. Here we go, we see it again. Watch the offensive linemen all staying with their people. Now he slides, secures the football, looks like he's going to run with it. And again, high point, the ball is up in the air.
And it is a touchdown. And you didn't see anything on the replay that would change the better view that the officials had when they unpiled.
Nothing was going to change that call.
By the way, Northern Illinois' fine center, Eddie Adamski, injured shoulder, will not return. So, very mobile young man that they used to pull a lot, and he will not return to this football game. Snap, set, extra point is perfect. We are headed to break. We will be back shortly. Western Michigan's got the lead, 17-13, the Comcast Sports Net.
Give it to me, 1, 2, 3.
Introducing Applebee's new Ultimate Trios. Great taste, great big portions, and a great price. Choose 3 from 7 delicious options to create your ultimate flavor fest. Like our new 100% Angus beef mini bacon cheeseburgers. New crispy, plump, and spicy dynamite shrimp. And the new flame-grilled steak quesadilla tower. Ultimate Trios, ultimate platter at an unbeatable price. Only at Applebee's.
Give it to me, 1, 2, 3.
Charlie, I'm in the tunnel now, buddy.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to be here tonight with you, everybody.
Not yet, buddy, not yet.
See the sky turn red. With these blues.
Welcome back. early third quarter action, 13-10 left at Brigham Field at Huskies Stadium. David Kaplan, Bob Kamel, and Kenny McReynolds patrolling the sideline. The Western Michigan Broncos, on the strength of a touchdown throw from Tim Hiller, have now taken a 4-point lead. And Bob, I think it's important for Northern Illinois to come down and be able to run the football. Do you think that they come out at all and try and stretch the field?
No. Come out and stay with the game plan. It's too early. This young guy is settling into some good things here as a quarterback. Ryan Morris going to get good field position here. Don't take any chances.
Ball's kicked out of bounds. Flag flies, and Northern will have very good field position to start this drive.
Okay, I don't want to get into all this about kickers. Please don't email me.
I was a kicker.
I'm going to tell you, this field is
Kickoff.
58
out of bounds. The ball will be put in play. 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line.
The football field is almost 58 yards wide. That football is like what?
A foot?
But whatever. How can you not kick the football onto the field of play? This is what all you do Monday through Thursday.
What if, hey, we worked a little harder than that. We had a few other responsibilities.
When you were a kicker?
Yeah.
Well, like what, listening to the Cubs?
We listened to the Cub game if it was early in the season. We had to make sure that we had our evening plan set up for when the other guys got through at practice.
I'm not going to get into all that. But okay, you asked me about the play calling. Joe Novak, great job. Very prudent calls here. This will become a field position football game, David.
Welcome back in again on Comcast Sportsnet. We are at Brigham Field at Husky Stadium in DeKalb on a homecoming weekend. Morris rolling, looking, throws, finds Matt Simon. Boy, he got drilled.
Tell young Mr. Morris, pulled the trigger. Pull the trigger, throw it now. This is a young quarterback. Now, look, watch, right? He was wide open basically going across the field. Give him a chance to run with the football after he catches it.
Right, once he caught it, he had nowhere
to go. He was in the boundary. Throw that a little sooner. He plants his outside foot, the receiver, bing, boom, and now he's upfield and he's in the secondary.
Going to throw it again. He's pressured, steps up, throws. It is dropped. That one was right on his hands, but Brandon Beal dropped the football, and that means Northern Illinois will have to punt it away. That's a catch you got to make.
Absolutely, a very catchable football. A crossing receiver. Good job right here. Good velocity on the ball. Catch the ball with your eyes, young man, with your eyes, not with your hands. Look it into your body. Make that catch. Get the first down. Frustrated Joe Novak on the sideline. Excellent offensive call that should have been executed.
High driving punt, going to come down to Schneider Julian at the 23. And he will be knocked down short of the 30-yard line. Good coverage by Patrick George.
You know, as you look down this Northern Illinois football roster, David, here's the demographic. You like that word? 79 players from Illinois, 10 from Wisconsin, 9 from Indiana, 7 from Minnesota, 5 from Mississippi, 2 from Florida, 1 from California, Kansas and Michigan represented with 1 each. 79 men on this roster from the greater Chicago area. Great job of demographic recruiting with great high school football in this area.
Mark Bonds rips off a chunk of about 5 yards. Let's go to the sidelines and our Kenny McReynolds. Kenny?
Yeah, David, the Northern Illinois coaches got the defensive front four together just before they went on the field and said, guys, we have to put more pressure on Hiller. So they want to go all out after Hiller. They want that front four to put more pressure on the Broncos quarterback.
There you have it. That's Tim McCarthy, the injured linebacker, the starting middle linebacker when this season began. The heart and soul of that defense along with Larry English, and he is done with an injury. Bonds driving. He will be stopped short of the marker, and it will bring up a third and very, very short, Bob.
I understand putting pressure on Hiller, but the first job that you have as a defensive lineman is to stop the run. Unless it's an obvious passing situation, you have to stop the run. You have to stay stout. We watched this young guy. We had Southern Illinois here, you and I. He is an impressive young man. I watched him in the pregame warm-up. He's calling the cadence as the inside linebackers were practicing over there with Denny Dornbus.
Handoff, and it will move the chains. It looked like that one might break down in the backfield, but a real nice job of running, and that will pick up the first down for Western Michigan, and they will move the chains.
Watch his feet, Bonds' feet right here. They never stop. They never stop. Look at that, still going, still going. If you're a young running back, regardless of position, but running back, as long as your feet are moving, you give yourself a chance. When your feet get stalemated or they stop, you have no chance. I will tell you.
Brandon West was the man carrying. But we have a great crew up here, don't we?
They have to. Northern has to step up and stay stout in the middle of the field. Zach Larson has to make some plays. He has to come up big. They've really found the middle right now to be soft. Western Michigan has, and now is when you have to get stout. Good shot of Zach right there. Good football position.
Again, West dragged down right across midfield. I was looking for my injury sheet, couldn't find it. Our fabulous crew up here comes through. It's under a mess of papers. Anyway, Tim McCarthy, an MCL and PCL problem. Injured on the 8th of September. He has missed 4 games. There he is right there. They don't know if he will return. He has not yet been ruled out for the season. That kid can flat out play, starting middle linebacker.
Does he look like a football player or what?
Wow.
I coached one of the great kids I ever coached in my entire career here, who was an inside linebacker, played like that guy. Timmy Griffin. Do you remember Griffin?
I remember Tim Griffin,
Second
absolutely.
leading tackler in the history of Northern Illinois football. Griff could play, and he was fun to coach, along with all the rest of those guys that were in that bunch.
Hiller hands it off. West makes one man miss and then picks his way with a flag on the field. We do have a flag on the field. Alex Kuba came up and made the tackle from his safety spot. One of the Western Michigan linemen are down. It's Skylar Truesdale.
Penalized 5 yards. It'll be 5.
And an offside call on Northern Illinois up front.
Are you ready to start and get me going again?
Go ahead, Coach.
How, when you are that close to the football, how do you go offside? How? It happens time and again. Middle guards, they're looking right down at the football. Guy gets, don't listen to the cadence. Watch the player in front of you when he moves his hand. If you're in the middle, watch the football. Zach Larson, right? Here's the thing about coaching inside linebackers, okay, David? You can't coach them passively. But at the same time, they have to be analytical, and they have to know when to come under control and when to come, boom, just for that knockout. Larson right there makes a great read. But you know what? He was a bit overzealous, overran the ball carrier, and you can't arm tackle at this level of football.
Not with the size of some of the guys that are out there.
No, I like this kid, this Zach Larson kid. I think he's going to be a really good football player. He's got big shoes to fill.
There's a look at number 64, Skylar Truesdale, out of Hazel Crest, Illinois. Good football player.
6'3", 304 pounds.
Now, when you started coaching way back in the horse and buggy days, what was the size of the average offensive lineman?
Probably 255, 260.
False start, absolutely no doubt about that one. That will go, I think, on Andy Lowy, 56, I believe, was the man that jumped, and as soon as it happened, he knew it.
David, you asked me when I was coaching. It wasn't for the players 24/7, 365. There was time off in the summer. You went and had a summer job. You got guys construction jobs or whatever. Now, that's why you see these guys as big as they're here all year. They never leave. They're in that weight room. They have nutritionists. They have kinesiology-ists, if there's such a thing. I mean, it's 24/7, 365 at the Division I level.
Mark Bonds, and that one goes absolutely nowhere. Zach Larson, your guy, steps up in the hole and makes the hit. You know, I was out, as we take a look at a replay here, I was out at watching my stepson play this morning for Deerfield High School. He starts at left tackle on the freshman team. As you get a look at second look there at the tackle.
See what he did there, David? He just choked his motor down just enough so he wouldn't get faked. And he kept his shoulder square and overrun the play. But he's growing up during the course of this football game.
Brandon West is now a single back set. Hiller looking, fakes, pulls it down, dumps it off to Brandon West, and West, a gang of red shirts led by Zach Larson, drag him down.
Now your stepson is a freshman in high school.
Freshman in high school.
What position?
Left tackle. Started today at D tackle, left tackle, and on the special teams. But the coach for the other team, very animated guy. He's out there in shorts. It's a little chilly. And his defense isn't flying to the ball, and he continually yells at the team and says, "You want to play slow? I got a nice, comfortable spot right next to me." And the entire crowd was loving it, but I was amazed. They really get after the kids more than they did maybe when we played. Juan Nunez makes the catch. Chase Carter was there to make the tackle. How much did you get after your players? And I mean in a good way, to motivate.
First of all, watch the drive by the defensive back right here. By drive, I mean his ability to change directions and come up and make the play. David, high school level, the most important coaches that you have at the high school level are your freshman football coaches. I'll argue that with anybody. They have to find a happy medium between motivating and teaching.
And there's the big sack. Bradley Pruitt blows in from the right side and makes the play and drops Hiller for a big loss.
What I mean by motivating is how much you get after. Because if a young guy doesn't have a good experience, you won't see him at the next level. Oh my goodness me. That was a great, great blitz. I talked about, coming up with a blitz package. Nice job. Nice job. Now, Hiller has been he's done a great job instinctively of moving away from things like that. But you know what? When you get a blitz, if you don't have enough people from one side of the field to pick the blitz up, that's on the quarterback.
Delayed handoff, Bonds knocked down. Bring up a third and about a dozen or more. DJ Perkle, who limped off in the first half, and Alex Crutch both came up and made the hit alongside that man, Larry English.
I'm a bit surprised that Bill Cuvett didn't actually stay with that inside running game just a bit more to set up the play-action pass.
Here comes pressure, gets it off to Bonds, and he will be knocked down well short of a first down. It'll bring up a fourth down situation. What do you do here, Coach? You're sitting probably a 47, 46-yard field goal, or do you try and go for it? Because you're not going to punt, would you, at the 28 or 9?
I think he's going to try to kick the field goal here, David.
It's into the wind.
Just a bit. If you look at the telltales up on top of the goalpost at that end of the field, they're barely moving.
Mike Jones in to attempt the field goal. This will come about 46 yards. And it will be a pooch kick instead, no surprise. And it will duck out of bounds right around. We'll see where they spot this 7 or 8 yard line. Playing the field position game.
Good call, good call. That's an excellent call right there.
He's got a 4-point lead. He says, I'm not going to take any chances. And Jones does his job. We'll come back. Huskies going on the attack when we return. 5:19 left in DeKalb.
LASIK eye surgery for $39 a month? Yes, you can. Now choose LASIK eye surgery at the Hauser Ross Eye Institute for only $39 a month or 18 easy monthly payments with no interest. That's right. Affordable payment options make freedom from glasses and contacts closer than ever. For only $39 a month or 18 easy payments, experience what thousands already know. If you've ever thought about seeing life without glasses or contacts, then now's the time to discover Hauser Ross. LASIK eye surgery at the Hauser Ross Eye Institute. Now affordable as ever. Call 1-800-CHECK.
Come into Webb Chevy today and get 0% APR for up to 60 months on everything. How about $6,000 of rebates on full-size SUVs? Hey, Sox fans, check out this Rawlings limited edition Tahoe. It's one of a kind and it's exclusively at Webb Chevy. And Webb Chevy is now offering a 2-year, 100,000-mile warranty on pre-driven vehicles. 0% on everything. $6,000 in rebates on SUVs. It's only going on through the end of the month, so hurry into Webb Chevy. 95th and Cicero in Oak Lawn for your deal of a lifetime.
This is a driver's alert. The state of Illinois has just passed costly, tougher penalties for driving uninsured, including stiff fines, suspended licenses, and large fees to get your license back. If you are currently driving without the minimum required coverage, call 1-800-SAFE-AUTO for a quote on low rates and low monthly payments. Play it safe and stay legal for less. Call now.
1-800-SAFE-AUTO. SAFE-AUTO.
Welcome back on Comcast Sportsnet. David Kaplan, Bob Kamel, Kenny McReynolds with you. Homecoming weekend here in DeKalb. The Huskies have the football 1st and 10 at their own 7-yard line, and they trail by 4. Handoff Justin Anderson, and that play, a lot of work and no gain, Bob. Dustin Duclos again over on the tackle.
One of the things when I'm inside the 5-yard line like that, I'd prefer to hand the football off and not take a chance of the ball being tossed back and having an errant pitch. And this just came where the defense from Western Michigan just strung the field out. And everybody becomes a linebacker once they see that play is being made. They keep their shoulders square, they string it out. The ball is either going to go either for a loss or it's going to be run out of bounds. Duclos, nice job.
Justin Anderson, inside handoff. He'll gain maybe a yard. And again, it's going to be a 3rd and a long conversion for a very young quarterback.
Again, I might start thinking a little bit of a boot action pass. Get everybody going in one direction, have Morris come out with the football in the other direction, either by himself, give himself a run pass option, or with a lead blocker in front of him. This is what made Bill Kubik's call a good call right there.
And with Adamski out, you've got a new center in there, Jason Onyebuagu, who normally plays another spot on the line. And they'll run a screen play, Justin Anderson, and he will be knocked down at the 16, 4 or 5 yards short, and the punt team will have to come on for the Huskies.
Big stop by Western Michigan there. Big stop. They came up big. We're going to see a lot of really good pursuit here. A lot of people just relentlessly moving to the football. And again, as we mentioned in the first half, look at the big hitting. Look at the pursuit on Western Michigan's part right there. That's why in that first play, I like to play a little inside, little inside handoff, see if you establish something in the middle, then come off with the boot action pass. A bit conservative, but we'll see. That's Bill Kubik's call to punt that football right there. Really emphasizes that it was a great call.
There's the kick to Schneider. Julian Fair catches it at his own 48. So good field position for Western Michigan. When we come back, they'll have the football. 3:14 left in the 3rd on Comcast Sportsnet.
Looking for a wireless phone and service? The Phone Store features service from Sprint PCS, US Cellular, T-Mobile, and Nextel. Why buy a phone from a store that offers only one carrier? At the Phone Store, our friendly, knowledgeable staff will help you compare between all of our carriers and help you find the phone and service that fits your needs the best. The Phone Store with 2 great locations, in Rochelle next to Sullivan's Foods and in DeKalb on Sycamore Road next to Great Clips by Aldi, or call 815-78-PHONE.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty good job, innit, when you think about it? I mean, basically, I help people save money, don't I? Like, I tell people they could save hundreds by switching to Geico. They go to geico.com, maybe save all this money on car insurance, and the next thing you know, I'm like invited to their wedding or whatever. One bloke actually asked me to be his best man. Dear oh dear. Anyway, look, don't matter. Look, point is, if you want loads of friends, giving away money, it's not a bad idea.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
17-13, third quarter action here in DeKalb. The broadcast rights for this event have been granted to Comcast Sportsnet by Northern Illinois University. Any reproduction or rebroadcast without the expressed written consent of Comcast Sportsnet and NIU is strictly prohibited.
From their 49.
Bonds, and he goes nowhere. What a play by DJ Perkle. Sheds a blocker from his nose guard spot, and this young fella, just a freshman, steps up and makes quite a tackle.
He'll find himself an incumbent eventually with making plays that way. And that's what you have to have on a football team. One guy goes down, another guy has to step up.
True freshman.
Oh, he is a true freshman.
Hiller looking. Hiller hit as he throws, finds his man. Be a gain of about 3. Nunez. Larry English was the man in the backfield. Bradley Pruitt made the tackle.
That defensive front from Northern Illinois, from a pass rush standpoint, is coming out with renewed vigor.
3rd and 8. Big situation for both clubs right here. Hiller looking, plenty of time. Pressured a bit, finds his man, and that's going to be enough for a first down. Big gain. Hiller, great poise in the pocket, finds his man, Jamarco Simmons, and that will move the sticks.
Northern Illinois was in 3 deep coverage, which means that the corners were set off of the football. He goes across the face of the defense and then gets into that zone, that soft zone to the outside, and that's why he's able to catch the football and get the yards after catch.
23 of those yards on that play.
Your friend there, Mr. English, David, is drawing a lot of attention.
Yes, he is. This is Brandon West, and he smashes his way to the 20. So Western Michigan, the decision by Bill Kubit to pooch punt the football out at the 7, so far paying big dividends in field position.
You know, it was a good pooch punt. I mean, remember the old coffin corner? How many times you see kickers say, why punters, why can't you kick the football out to the corner or a pooch punt? And that's another thing they practiced. That young guy did a great job with that pooch punt, and it was great coverage also going downfield.
And off to West. West picks his way to the 14-yard line.
And actually, that pooch punt was by the kicker, Mike Jones, was it not?
I believe you're right.
Yeah, it was a direct snap to Mike Jones. Mike Jones, nice job. Good execution. I haven't seen that play in a long time. It's a good call. It's a good play. Now Northern Illinois has to come up stout up front. Play with leverage, pad under pad. Don't try to do anything too fancy, just solid technique, aggressive football.
West goes by English. English had a couple of blockers on him, and he falls all the way down to the 2-yard line. It's going to be, I believe, a 1st and goal situation for Western Michigan as they try and take an 11-point lead if they are successful finding pay dirt.
David, what you're seeing here is a defensive front that's being worn down. And, you know, credit Western Michigan for playing the way they have and keeping their defense off the field and Northern Illinois' defense on the field.
1st and goal. Mark Bonds back in. Single back set for Tim Hiller. Gives it to Bonds, and he is lit up. Knocked down at the 4-yard line. Might have lost a yard. As we tick toward the end of quarter number 3, Brandon Bice and Zach Larson led a gang of Huskies.
Nice, wonderful read here by Larson. Wonderful job of staying at home and not overrunning the football, because the back definitely had cutback on his mind.
That's going to be the final play of the 3rd quarter. We've got a doozy going. We will head to break with the Broncos leading the Huskies 17-13.
NIU fans, when you enter the Village Commons bookstore, you're entering Husky territory. VCB is the official site for NIU Athletics, featuring the new NIU logo on a wide range of hats, t-shirts, shorts, sweats, and NIU logo gifts and accessories. Whether you're a student, graduate, or a fan of NIU Athletics, the Village Commons Bookstore is your Husky headquarters. Visit us in DeKalb or call us toll-free 800-700-4868 or on the web at www.vcbs.com.
Me time.
Go faster. Add Comcast high-speed internet for as low as $33 a month for 6 months. It's faster than DSL from your phone company. Sign up today and start doing more things online faster. Just call 1-888-4BEST-TV. Comcast high-speed internet. It's Comcastic.
There's only one number one. The way to get there? Be simply the best. Mercedes-Benz of Westmont is the Midwest's #1 Mercedes-Benz dealer. Shop the Midwest's largest inventory of new Mercedes-Benz vehicles and the finest selection of luxury pre-owned imports. With over 100 Mercedes-Benz service loaners, convenient same-day service appointments, extended Saturday service hours makes our service department simply the best too. Mercedes-Benz of Westmont, simply the best.
Can't sustain a drive.
Welcome back in. We are ready to start fourth quarter play here in a moment. Western Michigan trying to punch it in and increase their lead. They have a 17-13 advantage over the Northern Illinois Huskies. David Kaplan, Bob Kamel, Kenny McReynolds with you here in DeKalb, and joining us, Dr. James Phillips, the athletic director here. And boy, your defense has played a whale of a football game, Jim. They've been on the field a lot.
They really have, especially in the second half now. They just can't sustain a drive. But really proud of their effort. When I looked at that group that's out there now, 9 of them weren't even on the field when we started the season in September 1st in Chicago. So it's a completely different unit out there. A lot of young guys getting great amount of experience.
All right, Western Michigan has the football. Hiller throwing to the end zone, and it is incomplete. Incomplete. Going to bring up a 3rd and goal situation. Jamarco Simmons was the intended target. This is a huge play here because this would allow it to be a one-score 20-13 game if they were to convert a field goal. This is a huge play for your Husky defense.
Great job by Chase Carter. There's a fine line between pass interception and being in the right place to make that play on that fade route.
Mark Bonds, the single back set for Tim Hiller. Sophomore quarterback. Steps, looks, throws, fires, incomplete. Incomplete. NIU gets the stop, and now Western Michigan will try the field goal to increase their lead to 7. This Hiller is a good quarterback, and his receiver, I think, just slipped.
Hiller is a good quarterback. The receiver did slip there, but also that was really good coverage, David. You know, you talk about a guy driving on the football. That's when you're in a back pedal, the ball's thrown, no extra steps, come up and make the play.
Mike Jones, the kicker for Western Michigan, set to attempt the short field goal. Snap, set, kick is no good. No good. He misses the short one, so 2 excellent kickers have both missed short field goals today. Go get him, Coach.
Well, I'm not going to get on the kickers right now because I've got too good of a friend standing right next to me. Jim Phillips, Dr. Jim Phillips. Jim, real quick, okay? What is the interaction between an athletic director and a football coach, especially in a very difficult situation? This, you know, Joe Novak's just had so many injuries. Do you visit? When do you talk to Joe? And, you know, what goes on with that? What is that dynamic?
That's a great question, Bob. My biggest focus is to keep him healthy, mentally and physically, and just be ultra supportive. Just try to make sure he understands if there's anything that he needs, that we're there for him, and just be positive with the reinforcement. He's a pro. He's done it so many years before. This is just a little blip in the screen.
Northern throws on 1st down, looking for Brandon Beal, and he cannot make the catch.
You know, if there were a win-win situation between an athletic director and a football coach, you and Joe Novak have been great for each other.
You look at Morris's throw here, Bobby. Just missed getting his guy.
He's growing up. He's growing up during the course of this football game. He has the touch. He knows when to throw the ball, you know, on the line, when to put velocity on it. And I like his demeanor. I like his demeanor as the game progresses. His body language is that of confidence.
And he fakes and hands it off. Justin Anderson rumbling to the 29-yard line. That will be very close to a first down.
David, I think it's going to be short by about a foot. Good execution there. Sold the pass, put the football back. Watch this. Watch it. Look. Now, hey, nice job. Good execution. Put the ball right in the midsection of the back. The back well coached, had the inside arm up. Nice pocket.
Kind of the old Statue of Liberty play, Bob.
Basically, it's pretty much the same. Nice. Look at that. Look, that's perfect. That's textbook. That handoff there is textbook.
They'll give it to Anderson, picking his way, and he's going to be short. He did not get the first down. So Joe Novak's going to have a decision to make here. I think he's going to have to punt the football.
Has to punt the football, David. Credit Dustin Duclair.
Crowd is
yet
yelling.
Again. No. Don't listen to the crowd. Joe's been, as Dr. Phillips said, he's a professional. He knows what to do.
And he will punt the football, which you got to think's the right decision. There's a lifetime left at 14 minutes and counting.
Absolutely. You described it perfectly, Coach. He's a professional. Let him coach the group. I know the crowd's a little disappointed, but a lot of football left.
Dick Benner gets the punt off. Driving kick coming down. And an outstanding job by the Northern Illinois special teams. Patrick George, the second time today in coverage, makes a big-time hit. There's great emotion over there. We got to take a quick timeout.
I want to come back to Dr.
We'll talk more with Jim Phillips. Northern Illinois goes on defense, trailing by 4 here on Comcast Sportsnet.
Fatty's Pub and Grill in DeKalb is your official NIU tailgate headquarters. Whether you're catching the game on our side-by-side plasma screens or enjoying some of our famous grilled food, Fatty's is the place to be. Game tickets and tailgate passes are still available for Fatty's Ultimate Tailgate at the University of Wisconsin when the Huskies take on the Badgers on October 20th. To order, stop by Fatty's in DeKalb or go to fattyspub.com. It's all at Fatty's Pub and Grill, located just south of Husky Stadium in DeKalb.
Max Madsen can put you in a new 08 Mitsubishi Lancer with no money down and no payments for 6 months. A new Max Madsen 07 Outlander or 07 Eclipse, no money down and no payments for 6 months. Plus, there's 0% APR financing or cash rebates on Chicagoland's largest Mitsubishi inventory. One more thing, with 3 locations, no one outsells Max Madsen. No one. Mitsubishi Motors, driven to thrill.
13:44 left, fourth quarter, and this just feels like a football Saturday. A little chill in the air, homecoming weekend, fabulous crowd here. David Kaplan, Bob Kamel here in the booth. Kenny McReynolds is on the sideline. Our guest here is the athletic director, the very fine AD, Dr. James Phillips. Western Michigan back on the attack. Hiller throws, finds his man, and that's going to be a big gainer out to the Northern Illinois 45 as Jamarco Simmons made the catch, and the chains move in Western Michigan in Northern Illinois territory. You know, we talked last time we were here with you, Jim, but the Yorton Center that you have over there for your athletes, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I remarked, I said this on the radio. When I went through on the tour with you, I couldn't believe I was in DeKalb. It's gorgeous.
It is gorgeous, and it's reinvesting in our student athletes in our program, and so proud of our donors who stepped up in a big way to create that just world-class facility.
Bonds stumbles down near the 40. They'll call it the 41-yard line, bring up a second and about 5 yards for Western Michigan.
Jim, one of the things, Dr. Phillips, you had a wonderful crowd here today. And I look at the demographic of your football team. I mentioned this earlier while we were on the air. There are 79 young men on your roster from Chicago. There's no doubt about it. You are Chicago's collegiate football team.
Well, we recruit heavily in this area, Bob, and it shows with the roster, but it also shows with the fan support. We've had a difficult season, but we've had over 23,000 people here at the stadium, and it's a reflection of who we are and what we're trying to build.
Bonds will be knocked down, and he will be short of the first down. It'll bring up a third and very short situation, about third and a little less than a yard.
This Bonds is a big, strong backman.
They are going to measure, but this will be, I believe, just a bit short.
Big lateral crease in the defense of Northern Illinois. He took that crease, good read, good patience, accelerated when he needed to. I think they will be short, David.
Jim, as you watch the scoreboard every week, you're a football fan. I mean, and let's see, it's going to be, yep, just made it by the nose of the football. And it will be a first down for Western Michigan. As you look at the scoreboard every week, do you marvel? Wow, USC loses to Stanford, and this one loses to that one. I mean, it's amazing the competitive levels now.
There's so much balance, guys, and I've never seen college football in the state that it's in today. Anybody can beat anybody on any given Saturday, and that's why I think what Joe Novak has done has been remarkable. We haven't had a losing season since 1999, and Joe deserves a lot of credit for those results.
Hand off to West. West gashing for about 6. And you can tell the Northern Illinois defense, Bob, a little tired. There just isn't as much bounce in their step because they've been asked to play a long time today.
They've been on the field a long time, and this is just fundamental football. This is a hat on a hat and a push and a running back who's got a great desire to gain 2, 3, 4 yards. Northern Illinois have to come up stout here, play low, play with leverage, make something happen, pull the football out, pursuit of the football.
That will come up short. A gang of red shirts led by Josh Allen turn him back, and it will be a third down and right around 2 yards for a Western Michigan first down. Clock dripping under 11:20. You also have to feel good. You look at, there's a lot of enthusiasm today. Homecoming, and people are excited to be here.
They are, and one of your favorite times of the year, David.
Basketball
starting
today.
season,
That's
right? We had our first practices with our men's and women's teams.
This is all on the spot. All on the spot. This is going to be very, very close. A couple of guys stepped up big. Zach Larson, nice job.
And I think he got it. First down, Western Michigan by about the length of the football. And that means on third down, they are 5 of 13. Northern Illinois just 1 of 11 on third down today. That and the amount of time the defense has been on is really your football.
Those are 2 critical statistics, as you pointed out.
This is classic Mid-American Conference football.
Hiller looking, and Larry English going to make a play. Wow. Big time sack all the way back to the 40-yard line. Let's see where they're going to mark this. They will actually mark it at the 35-yard line, but it will be a huge loss.
You watch it. You cannot turn English loose. There's no way. You can't turn him loose. You can pull a tight end. You can pull a wide receiver. He's going to play right through that. You talk about a guy probably anticipating run and then coming and playing the pass that way. That's a smart football player.
2nd and 19 now. Hiller. Looking, dumps it off, and it's dropped by West. They ran the screen, and West dropped it. Might have been thrown a little hard, Bob.
Well, that's just that's a touch. He just has to let that go, and again, that's like an extended handoff. He gets a little too quick with that there. Just get him the football. Jim, you know, you talked about men's basketball a little bit with David right there. I will tell you something. Carol Owens at the halftime. If I'm a young lady, a high school basketball player, and I've got a chance to play for Carol Owens, I'm playing here at Northern Illinois because she is a great example on the court as well as off the court. As we say, she gets it.
Huge play. 3rd and long. Hiller, pressured. Hiller is hit. Hiller's going down. Big time sack again. John Trent Chaptella, and we have a flag down in the defensive secondary. This could be a huge call.
Correction, Trent Chaptella with the sack of Hiller.
Prior to the snap, delay game on the offense.
Prior to the snap, a delay of game call. Joe Novak shakes his head. The best penalty Bill Kubit's ever seen.
5-6. 5-6.
They're going to Put 6 seconds back on the clock on a 3rd and 24. Bonds, the tail of the tandem. Hiller hands off to Bonds. Bonds turns the corner and will be escorted out of bounds. Knocked out at about the 32 or 33. Alex Kuba again making the tackle.
I think this is a really good call in this situation. The one thing at the very end of the play, Bonds has got a handful of face masks. I think that was a bad no call right there. That was a bad no call. The game's been very well officiated, but I think that was a bad no call.
And again, here's Jones on. You got to think pooch punt again. Or do you try the long field goal?
Try the long field goal with the wind at his back, David.
And there it is again, the same thing we saw. And he angles it for the sideline. And this one is out at the 3.
What a great punt. What a great execution by Western Michigan.
Exactly, well executed. I mean, there's really nothing, there's no way to defend what they just did. You're not going to put somebody back there to try to catch the thing.
All right, we are going to take a timeout. There is Diesel, the Husky dog. He watches on. Can the Huskies back?
It's our pride in the red, white, and blue. It's our commitment that always comes shining through. It's everything that you need.
Always find what I need.
You can get everything here.
Always have good service. Got everything we needed.
The hardest working people in America find value at Farm and Fleet.
Attention, credit counseling does not work. Did you know that the credit counseling companies often receive kickbacks from actual credit card companies you owe money to? The truth is, the average debt counseling program takes 7 years to complete and may end up costing you thousands of dollars in additional interest. We can do better. As the largest bankruptcy firm in the country, we can provide you with an immediate and inexpensive way to get rid of your debt once and for all. Call 1-888-7-HELP-US for a free confidential consultation or visit us online at legalhelpers.com.
You got big ideas. You're in the big city. It's time for your big break. Call the International Academy of Design and Technology Chicago right now to begin your career in visual communications. Get the training you need to design posters, magazine layouts, websites, video graphics, you name it, and do it all right here in Chicago. Think big. Help shape the way we see the world. Get started in a career in visual communications.
Pick up the phone and call the Academy now at 888-826-3111. Call now.
For the best Volkswagen values and selection, you need to go to a megastore. The Autobahn Volkswagen megastores in Evanston, Mount Prospect, and Countryside. Over 1,000 new and pre-owned certified Volkswagens. #1 Volkswagen values at the #1 Volkswagen dealer group in the Midwest. The Autobahn Volkswagen megastores in Evanston, Mount Prospect, and Countryside. Check out all our specials at theautobahn.com.
Roughing the passer. 15 yards, and that one moves it away from the shadow of the goalposts.
Personal foul.
Let's take a look again and see if we can catch where he gets hit.
As a defender, you have to pull up. You have to pull up.
First down.
I mean, that is a good call. David, that's a good call. I mean, not only roughing the passer, almost looked like helmet to helmet.
Corey Flom was the man. Morris looking, throws, finds Justin Anderson, and he drops it, but it really would have been for no gain anyway.
Well, I think that, Joe Novak right now is sending a message to Ryan Morris. I have confidence in you. You know, the game is in the balance right now. We're not going to stay conservative. You're going to get a chance to throw the football. He'll grow up in this situation and yet have an opportunity to win the football game for his team.
Ball at the 18 on a 2nd and 10. Clock at 9:29. They'll give it to Justin Anderson, and he is nailed. A loss of a couple. It'll bring up a 3rd and long. Dustin Duclos, who has been all over the place today, has played a whale of a football game.
I mean, you talk about a young guy who's come to play. Dustin Duclos, 5'10", 225 pounds. You don't need to be 6 feet 3 or 4 inches to play the inside. You have to be tough, you have to be analytical, you have to be strong, and you have to be, yes, a want-to guy. He's having a whale of a game for himself today.
1 for 11 on 3rd down. Morris looking, pressure, gets it off. Anderson tries to cut it back up, and he will go nowhere. And the Huskies are going to have to punt the football away. A 4th and long coming up, but still 8:30 to go here in the 4th quarter.
Play absolutely took too long. The play took too long. He was by doing that, you're basically buying time for the defense to react, get into pursuit, make those breaks, come up and defend the play. Too long. There's a point in time in a screenplay where you have to get rid of the football.
And again, Boston McCornell, who has been all over the place today, made the tackle. Dittbetter gets the punt away. Driving kick coming down at the 39. Huskies will cover it. Western will have it at the 47-yard line. Jim Phillips, thank you for being here.
Appreciate it, guys.
I mean, proud to call you
We're going to pull this one out at the end.
James Phillips, the athletic director at Northern, will come back. 7:54 to go. Broncos by 4.
It's all good. Casey's, it's all right. Casey's will make it any way you like.
Stop into Casey's General Store and get a 25-cent 2-liter with the purchase of any large pizza. Plus tax and deposit not valid with any other offer.
Casey's General Store. Casey's, it's all good.
Everybody in a festive mood here, homecoming weekend. Great Hall of Fame inductions last night. But they want a Husky victory, Bob, and they are trailing by 4 with 7:54 to go. And again, they have to ask their defense to step up and stop the Bronco offense. Bonds may have gained a yard, maybe. Zach Larson again with the tackle.
The Huskies with 2 timeouts left. Broncos with 3. Talk about a homecoming for you and I also.
That's it. You and I used to live in this town.
Yeah, we both
coached here 23 or 4 years ago.
24 years ago, 23 years ago.
Can't believe I'm that old.
You were 7 then.
That's exactly
you were the
right.
youngest basketball coach in the country.
Hiller throws, finds his man. And he is going, the football's loose, and let's see, I believe that ball stays with Western Michigan. Simmons broke a tackle. Jamarco Simmons did a real good job at picking up a first down.
All right, you watch this, David. Watch this play. This is nothing more than an elongated pitch. You know, he's turn around with a quarterback in the old days pitched. This is the same thing. Basically the same thing. It just happens faster, and it gets you out in the flat quicker.
Boy, the football came loose, and Simmons did a great job at corralling it. Hand off to Bonds, and that one will go nowhere. He is dragged down. Loss of a yard. Let's go to Kenny McReynolds on the sideline. Kenny Mac.
Okay, guys, pay close attention to the Husky defense. They pulled the defensive guys together and told them to try to strip the ball. They don't think that the Broncos are really covering up the ball well. So look for the Huskies to try to strip the ball.
By the way, the assistant coach talking there to Joe Novak. P.J. Fleck, the All-American wide receiver, had a short career in the NFL and then decided to get into coaching. And I talked with him before the game. What a wonderful young man. He was an academic, standout, honor roll student, played for the 49ers, and then got into coaching, and is a real credit to this football staff.
He's a very astute hire. He is a very astute hire by Joe Novak. He's been here. He's worn that helmet. He knows the academics. He knows how to recruit. When you live in these dorms and go and eat at with the student body, when you go to recruit and you can talk about all those things and yet coach them and be an example, great hire by Joe Novak. Great hire.
3rd and 7. Big play for the Northern Illinois defense. Hiller hands off to West. West turns the corner, will not get it.
This is going to be a holding call, David. This is going to be on Matt Williams, the big right guard.
Yep, I think he was holding DJ Perkle, the big nose guard, the freshman. That's a big kid to hold. He's 300 pounds. Decline, and Western Michigan will have to punt the football away.
You know, all these coaches that came out of the cradle of coaches at Miami of Ohio, they all have that scowl. They must teach that.
That's it. That's lesson 1.
Joe Novak, a proud graduate of Miami of Ohio.
On a 4th and 6, what do you think of this decision? Do they let the clock just drip as far as they can? What do they do here, Bob?
Well, I think they're just going to sit in that huddle there and let the clock go down.
Take the delay of game and then punt it.
Absolutely.
They take the timeout instead.
That was a bit unusual.
Nope, they do get the delay again.
They do get the delay.
4th down. The clock will start on the snap.
Hiller on the day, 20 of 29, 226 yards, a pick and a touchdown. And I will tell you, 2 years from now, I think that young man will get drafted. I think Hiller is a whale of a quarterback.
All the physical attributes, he's learning the throws. He's going to be tutored by Coach Kubik. He's got the best of both worlds there. Stay around at the collegiate level, move on to the NFL.
There's the punt, and it is headed into the end zone.
David, you look at the demeanor of both these football coaches.
Bill Kubik. He is furious with his punter. We will take a timeout. That punter will get a tongue lashing. We'll be right back.
Well, he should.
Advance your career with an MBA from Northern Illinois University.
I was able to balance my MBA with my professional life as well as my personal life. And best of all, NIU's MBA program is AACSB accredited and affordable.
I was impressed with the knowledge and experience of the professors, and the program provided me with a well-rounded business education. The affordability and convenient locations made my decision easy, and it made my MBA a reality.
Attend an open house in Hoffman Estates Monday, September 17th, or in Naperville Wednesday, September 19th.
Football is brought to you by Fatty's Pub and Grill, the official tailgate home of NIU Athletics. Village Commons Bookstore for all your Husky clothing and souvenirs. Visit vcbs.com. Applebee's. Try Applebee's Carside to Go. You call it in, we bring it out. Casey's General Stores, the official convenience store of NIU Athletics. Casey's, a convenience store, and a whole lot more. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. I found it at Farm and Fleet. Jewel, we take one-stop shopping to the next level. TCF Bank open 7 days. The NIU MBA programs take the NIU MBA Challenge. Kishwaukee Hospital, health, heart, home, and Resource Bank, where banking is a pleasure. My God. Welcome back. 4:52 to go. Northern Illinois trailing by 4 points. Their defense has been stout all day. Can their offense make something happen? Morris, pressured, looking, going down the field, and it is broken up. Looking for Marcus Perez, E.J. Biggers was in the coverage and helped break that up. Looking for a big play on first down. It's her second time, Bob, to go downfield like that.
I like the call. I like the poise. I like the throw. Hey, credit E.J. Biggers with making a great play. The ball just slightly underthrown. Slightly underthrown.
Boy, Marcus Perez nearly caught it. Nearly caught it after the tip. Throws, Perez has it, and I think he's got the first down. I think he has the first down. Yes, it will be, depending on the spot. Yep, move the chains, and that is a Northern Illinois first down.
That's a wonderful throw. Do you feel the same way I do about this young guy? We're watching a quarterback growing up through the course of one game. Sets his feet, looks across the field, finds the dead spot in the zone, delivers the football to Perez.
Justin Anderson tries to turn the corner and goes nowhere. Boy, for a guy that ran for 116 in the first half, he has found the sledding very difficult. Dustin Duclos again on the tackle. I mean, any talk of MVP today for Western Michigan's defense, and he's got to be right on the list.
That term there is called scalloping, David, by a linebacker. In other words, your shoulders are square. You take on one block, shoulders square, take another block. Keep moving to the football, and then finish it up with a nice tackle.
2nd and 10. Morris looking's got time, throws, and it's got his man. He finds Matt Simon at the 50.
David, Justin Anderson came up with a huge block on the blitz. Watch the left side of your screen. I hope we see, well, he's right there. You can't really see it right there. He made a huge play. This is a great throw. Slightly thrown behind the receiver. He comes up big, makes the catch. But credit Justin Anderson to taking on a big defensive end.
He fakes and's going to throw. Finds Justin Anderson up the sideline out of bounds at the 38-yard line.
Wonderful sequential play calling by the Northern Illinois offensive coordinator. Great job. Look at the time he's got. I mean, this young guy's growing with the offensive line's giving him time. Give this kid a little time. He's got a chance to be something very special.
Matt Simon today, after that 21-yard catch a couple plays ago, 5 for 128 and a touch.
Roy Whitkey, the new offensive coordinator with the Huskies, doing a great job of calling plays here.
Justin Anderson picks his way. Might have picked up a yard, maybe.
Joe Novak hired Roy
made the
Whitkey
tackle
from Arizona State University. His first year, brought him in as the offensive coordinator. You want to see, look in the dictionary under football coach, you'll see that man's picture.
Morris looking, throwing, and we've got a flag coming in. We'll see what this flag is. I think it might be a hold on the defensive backfield. We'll find out.
It was made by the side judge.
Nope, it's going to be a hold on the Northern Illinois offensive line. So a big play for the Western Michigan defense.
It had to be on the right tackle, considering where the official was that made the call. It looks like it might be on Frost.
So move it back, and it's now a 2nd and 19. Morris looking, throws, finds Justin Anderson, sheds one man, and picks up about 9. So a much more manageable 3rd down situation.
Justin Anderson's having himself quite a fourth quarter.
And who do you think made the tackle?
Tupelo.
There you go. That kid is a heck of a football player.
He makes plays from tackle to tackle and drops in coverage. You know the word you use with a guy like him, the term, he has a great motor. It never stops.
Morris looking, pressured, steps up, throws, and it's broken up. Matt Simon was looking for the flag. The Husky sideline wanted it and did not get the call, and it will bring up a 4th and 11.
This is very close, David. Very close to being pass interference. Good job of stepping up. See, steps up in the pocket, Wow. Question is, where was his left hand? The far hand, the hand we didn't see.
4th and 11 at the 2:22 mark. Huskies need 11 to keep the drive alive. Morris, pressured, throws, gets it off, incomplete. Hit as he throws, and that's going to turn it over and down. Zach Davidson, the big DN, the man applying the pressure. And now the Huskies, with 2 timeouts left, are going to have to get a stop and get it quick.
Well, that was just great coverage. He had nowhere to go with the football. The offensive line's battling up front. He looks, nowhere to go with the ball. Actually, with the pressure, had to throw the ball over the shoulder pad of the defender, and that's why so much came off of the football. A lot less velocity. It's all he had to do. But again, I mean, this Ryan Morris, I think he stepped up today, David. I really do.
Gutty performance. Huskies trying to strip the football. Good gain for Mark Bonds. And the clock dripping to the 2-minute mark.
2 timeouts left. First guy comes in, secures the ball carrier. Everybody else comes in, is trying to pull that football out, punch it out, grab it out, what have you. That's what they have to do. Have to tackle the football now.
When do you use the timeouts?
David, I think you start looking at one after whatever the result of this play is going to be here. And they start thinking about using the first one. Now, they're in 3 deep coverage now, Northern.
Bonds makes a man miss, and Bonds has belted down, but that's going to move the chains. That's a huge, huge conversion. On 2nd and 6, Mark Bonds able to run around the left side, cuts it back, goes by Josh Allen. He gets the tackle later.
He's a good young back. That was a great cut. I talk about patience. It's not just getting the football and going in a straight line as fast as you can. Read those blocks. Choke your motor down just a little bit. Let the defense express itself, and then look for that lateral crease.
Huskies still have 2 timeouts left. Hiller hands it off to West. West makes a man miss and picks up 5. And now Northern Illinois will use their 2nd timeout. They'll have 1 left.
David, this Northern Illinois defense has just been on the field too long. I mean, the most difficult thing is playing in that defensive line when you're a big guy time and time again. Here's the back, 2 hands on the football as he goes down in this situation. You're talking about that on the sideline. You're talking about it in the huddle. 2 hands on the ball. Don't run for the touchdown right here. Run to move the sticks.
Do you realize that the 1 timeout that they don't have left, they now are down to 1 after that, was the timeout they used when they wanted the officials to review that touchdown? And you can understand Joe Novak doing it, but from our vantage point up here, there was no way it was going to be overturned.
No, it wasn't. That right there, that is not,
But he doesn't have a monitor down there to be able to see that.
Joe Novak, he'll come back. They'll recruit hard. There's a lot of football left to be played here. Get some of those young guys to step up. Coach them hard. Coach their coaches.
West does not get the first down. It'll bring up a 3rd down situation, but Northern Illinois is out of timeouts.
The most taxing task, if you will, is to rush the passer. Who's rushing the passer? Big guys. Big guys that time and time again. Only second probably in size to offensive linemen. But offensive linemen, I mean, they work, operate in an area about 3 or 4 yards, maybe the most. Now you're a defensive lineman and you're a big guy, and you're going upfield, and you're going upfield, and you come back and you're going upfield again. Very, very taxing. Northern's defense has been on the field an inordinate amount of time, and you can see that they're being, just basically being worn down. But, there's Mike Sabak. Hey, I talked about Mike Sabak. There he is right there. That guy, we shared an office together 24 years ago.
I remember hanging out with him 24, 25 years ago.
Oh, he's again, you get a guy like that at a university, if you can keep him around, that type of loyalty is rewarded and it's paid back.
Northern Illinois makes the play. They get the stop. Bonds cannot get the first down. Corey Hansen, the man that made that tackle. Clock running at 45. Western Michigan fans, keep in mind, they know exactly what the sting of a last-second defeat is like, losing on a kick return at the absolute final second a week ago to Akron.
This is pretty elementary right now. They'll wait until it comes right down. They'll call that timeout. They'll regroup. They'll talk about protection. They'll talk about, no foolish penalties. They'll talk about protecting the punter.
Timeout. Western Michigan. Their first timeout.
I mean, Joe Novak never stops coaching. There was an old saying, well, the hay's in the barn. A long time ago, a great football coach told me the hay is never in the barn. You coach from Monday till Friday, and when game day comes, you coach on game day. You make adjustments. You talk about technique. You talk about things. In this situation, in a lot of ways, you've got some young guys there that probably wouldn't have had an opportunity to hear what goes on in the ebb and flow of a hard-hitting game at the end of the game. And all that goes into that bank. It's an investment.
There's a look again at former Northern Illinois All-American and NFL wide receiver, P.J. Fleck, a member of the staff here now.
Jim Laney will punt, and Marcus Perez back to receive for the Huskies.
Driving kick is going to go out of bounds, so he heeded his coach's advice after the last kick, went into the end zone. And Northern Illinois is going to have exactly 16.1 to go 93 yards.
Exactly my point about coaching during the course of the game. Bill Kubik calls the punter over and says, look, I'm not happy with that. This is why you're here on this football team. You have to do that. Now another opportunity comes for the young man. He's been coached during the course of the game, and there's the result.
Now, when you watch the film again, do you reinforce it again and give him the tongue lashing for the original mistake? Or do you say, we already dealt with it, I move on?
Well, you may do that. His position coach may do that. But beyond that, you dealt with it, and you move on. But you know what? In practice, he practices that. Put some more emphasis in practice that.
Morris goes down the field, and it's broken up. Broken up with 9.2 seconds left. Keep in mind the clock stops on a first down, which would allow them to reset and get a playoff.
Right, and Morris showing good arm strength.
Why don't you tell me, trivia for you, who broke this play up?
Duclos. When in doubt, say Duclos, right?
That's exactly right. This guy has got to be the defensive player of the week in my book in this league, and I didn't see every other game. I was here. That guy's played just one heck of a football game. Morris dumps it off, finds Simon. Little hook and ladder, and that is going to do it. Western Michigan has come into DeKalb, and they walk away with a very hard-fought 17-13 win over the Northern Illinois Huskies. The final tackle, Dustin Duclos again. We will take a timeout. We'll come back. We have got Casey's General Stores halftime or postgame show coming up right here on Comcast Sportsnet.
Every Monday, catch the Bears recap on Comcast Sportsnet. Hear what Lovie Smith has to say about the previous game and get a preview of the upcoming weekend's matchup. Don't miss Bears recap every Monday at 5, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Tuesday, Bulls preseason basketball plays on Comcast Sportsnet as Ben Gordon and the Bulls go toe-to-toe with Gilbert Arenas and the Wizards. Don't miss Bulls preseason basketball Tuesday night at 7:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Join the post-game party on Comcast Sportsnet as I break down every Bears game with former Bears Dan Jiggets, Jerry Azuma, and Jim Miller. We'll bring you the Bears press conferences after every game, and William Jackson is live outside the Bears locker room with player reaction. Plus, Jerry Azuma gives out his coveted Jerry's GQ Award to the best dressed Bear. Trust me, you don't want to miss U.S. Cellular Bears postgame live Sunday, live from the Cadillac Club at Soldier Field on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
This is the Casey's General Store post-game show here on Comcast Sportsnet. You just watched Northern Illinois fall to Western Michigan 17-13 here on a homecoming Saturday football game. David Kaplan, Bob Kamel with you up here in the booth. Thank you to Kenny McReynolds for his work on the sidelines today and to our great crew. I'll tell you what, this was a good football game and it was hard hitting.
David, you during the course of the game, you read that literal litany of injuries that Northern Illinois has suffered through the course of the season. And to come up big the way they did today and to be in this game against a fine Western Michigan team is a credit to Joe Novak and his staff and a lot of young guys who have stepped up. You know what that shows me? Senior leadership. You know, I looked down the field, I saw McCarthy, the inside linebacker, was hurt in the first game, walking around, talking to the inside linebackers as they prepared. There's a huge, huge future here for Northern Illinois football. Got a bunch of young guys had a chance to play, albeit in defeat. That will pay dividends, as I mentioned later on. And my hat is off to Joe Novak again and his staff for being in this game, considering all those injuries. Those are significant. You won't hear that in Division I football anywhere across the country. Now from the other side of the football field, Bill Kubit, professional very, very professional coach. Great job for him and his staff as they head back to Kalamazoo.
All right, our Adidas player of the game. It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog, and we give that honor to number 59, Dustin Duclos. In on 8 tackles right now, and folks, it's going to go maybe to 15 or more when they watch the film tomorrow. This guy was absolutely everywhere. A dominant force today, and it's probably fitting that the game ends on a Dustin Duclos defensive play. And they win it today, 17-13, so our congrats to Dustin Duclos, the 5'10", 225-pound junior, is our Adidas player of the game, and Western Michigan walks out with a very hard-fought victory.
Well, you mentioned Dustin Duclos. You talk about an old-fashioned type of football player. You know, everybody thinks that inside linebacker has to be 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". Mike Singletary, David, you've stood next to him.
5'10", 5'11".
Exactly, but tough, analytical, quick, athletic. Great job by young Dustin.
Bobby, a lot of fun. Enjoyed it. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Don't forget, the next NIU game on Comcast Sportsnet will air Saturday, November 10th, live at 3, as the Huskies battle Kent State right here at Husky Stadium. For Bob Kamel and Kenny McReynolds and our great crew, I'm David Kaplan saying so long from Husky Stadium in DeKalb, where Western Michigan beats Northern Illinois 17-13. The preceding has been an exclusive presentation of Comcast Sportsnet and Northern Illinois University. So long, everybody.
Max Madsen can put you in a new 08 Mitsubishi Lancer with no money down and no payments for 6 months. A new Max Madsen 07 Outlander or 07 Eclipse. No money down and no payments for 6 months. Plus, there's 0% APR financing or cash rebates on Chicagoland's largest Mitsubishi inventory. One more thing. With 3 locations, no one outsells Max Madsen. No one. Mitsubishi Motors, driven to thrill.
Lots has changed over 4 generations, but one thing that's remained the same is the great taste of Rosani's Pizza. For 40 years, the Rosani family's secret recipes have kept people coming back for more. Authentic pizzas are made by hand, always with the freshest homemade sauce and ingredients. Deep dish, thin crust, there's something for everyone. Or dive into the cheap, delicious Italian beef with melted mozzarella. Rosati's Pizza, a tradition of quality for 4 generations. Log on to myrosatis.com to find the location near you.
Empire makes living easy with beautiful vinyl siding that's virtually maintenance-free. You'll never have to paint again. It's simple. Just call Empire today and we'll bring a wide selection of colors and styles to choose from. We install in just 2 weeks. You'll save with warehouse direct prices, plus no payments till 2009. Give your home a great new look that will last. All it takes is one call to Empire. How easy is that?
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
We now join our regularly scheduled program already in progress.
Back, allure, and Tom Brady's already done this. He's had 5-6 years of doing these kind of things. I'm telling you right now, Dallas is in trouble. Not because their offense isn't gifted. They got a good offensive line that needs to be able to run the ball with Marion Barber, Julius Jones, to make sure they don't let that defensive pass rush of the New England Patriots get to them. But yeah, Terrell Owens is the difference maker. He's too big, too strong for the corners of New England. They're going to have to back off and let him have some space. If Tony Romo can get the ball to him, they have a great chance of busting this game open. I don't see it, though. Right now, New England is too good on both sides of the ball.
You know, look at these numbers, and there's one that's a little misleading. You see the Cowboys in pass defense? Well, since Terrence Newman came back in the secondary, they've only given up 140 yards passing a game. They've only given up 6 points a game. But this is the Patriots, guys, and a little perspective here. I understand sandwich games. I understand looking ahead. But that was a Buffalo Bills team without 6 starters on defense that did that to the Cowboys last Monday night. What are the Patriots going to do to them?
Clean sweep. Everybody likes New England in that game. As we head to another timeout, let's get your selections on 3 more contests. Minnesota on the lakefront in Chicago, Philadelphia at the Jets, and St. Louis at Baltimore. Quickly.
The Bears get back to 500. The Eagles beat the Jets, and the Ravens, they can't score points, but they'll score enough to get past the Rams.
Ditto.
I like the Eagles, guys. The Rams will stay within the points. The Vikings will stay within the points. The Bears and the Ravens will win those games.
We're back with more Pro Football Weekly after this.
The critics agree. Sports Science is the coolest show on television. You won't believe what you're seeing. This show rocks. This week, see this all-pro linebacker and this UFC champion come to the lab and put sports' hardest hits under the microscope. Catch an all-new episode of Sports Science Sunday on Comcast Sports Net.
Every night, only one show brings you closer to the teams that matter most. Sports Night on Comcast Sportsnet. Highlights of the games you care about. Breaking news that has Chicago talking. Interviews with the biggest names. And the time to tell in-depth stories. If you're a fan of Chicago sports, then this is your show. Sports Night, every night at 6:30, 10, and midnight, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Where's a fan's best friend online? ComcastSportsNet.com. It's the place to read analysis from Comcast Sportsnet experts that you can't find anywhere else. Get up to the second news headlines. See the day's programming lineup. Check out talent bios and watch video clips featuring the latest info on your teams. Plus, sign up for Sports Extra and Sports Blast email alerts that make you the first to know about breaking news. Log on right now to ComcastSportsNet.com. Fans' best friend online.
We're back on Pro Football Weekly. Next up, 3-1 Tennessee makes their way to 3-2 Tampa Bay. Chucky joked this week that he may have to call the Today Show to see if Tiki Barber wants to come down there after losing the top 2 running backs in Tampa in Cadillac and Pittman. Titans have won 5 straight road games dating back to last November. Hub, what are the insiders saying?
Well, certainly the story on the Bucs is those running back injuries, and yet don't sniff at Ernest Graham. He's looked pretty good the last couple weeks. He's probably not ready to be the feature guy, but as efficient as Jeff Garcia is quarterbacking that team, and they've got some weapons at wide receiver, it's the defense that's been carrying the Bucs, and that's the thing people are wondering if the Titans are ready for. The Tennessee Titans have more good players nobody's ever heard of than any other team in the league, particularly on defense, where Kyle Vanden Bosch and Albert Hainsworth are just wrecking everybody on the right side of that line. But Vince Young is not really getting it done this year, guys. Take a look at that game last week. He tried to give that one away. What's he going to do against this Tampa Bay defense? That's the question people are asking heading into this game.
Yeah, overall, Hub, At 3-1, the Titans are playing better than I thought they would at this early point in the season. And prior to last Sunday, I thought Vince Young was making progress as well, but then he goes out and throws 3 awful interceptions against a bad Falcons defense. Titans are going to win games this year because they run the football well and they play great defense. Second in the league running the football. Now, some of that is because of Vince Young and what he can do with his legs, but overall, they run the football very well. They're third in run defense, so they're going to compete each and every Sunday out there. Dan, I like what Chucky's done with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but no Pittman, no Cadillac. This is a good Titan defense. I actually like the Titans to go on the road and get a victory here.
Well, I tell you what, John Gruden has a lot of duct tape and glue to keep this offense together. And the one thing about it is, remember, the best money move of the offseason, in my mind, getting Jeff Garcia. He has been the focal point of this offense, keeping it rolling. As Hub says, they're not getting an awful lot done. But, hey, guess what? Last week, they ran the ball 12 times for only 17 yards. And now that Ernest Graham takes over, since the other 2 guys are sent to the crusher, now Jeff Garcia has to step it up. Joey Galloway's actually having pretty darn good year. But again, this game falls on the shoulders of the defense. Monty Kiffin, the defensive coordinator, will have a very, very disciplined group. Keep Vince Young in the pocket. They will make sure that he doesn't get out and hurt them. I'm telling you right now, Tennessee may win this game, but Tampa's going to be pretty close.
I'm telling you that the best off-season money spent was on Pat's new toupee. That's what I think.
Yeah. Well, we're still trying to save up for it.
It's a beauty.
Look at the turnovers, guys. +4 for Tampa, -1 for Tennessee. Classic trap here. Don't take the 3-1 AFC team. The Bucs win this football game.
Up next, they are going to party like it's 1999 in the desert, at least at the quarterback position, when Kurt Warner replaces the injured Matt Leinart as the Cardinals starter. Now, Arizona put a call into 43-year-old Vinny Testaverde this week to be a backup. He said that was too far to move from his family in New York, but Carolina, that's an easy commute. And get this, Vinny may actually start Sunday. Tom, should we call Steve DeBerg and see if he's available for this game?
I think we should. Is that thing really real?
It is real. Is yours real?
All you need to know about this game is one of those things you mentioned. That Vinny at 43 may get to start in this game. And secondly, that Panther defense that used to be vicious is now ranked 25th overall. You have a talent like Steve Smith, that is phenomenal. Truth is, when you have either David Carr or Vinny Testaverde throwing the rock to him, you're not getting the real Steve Smith. The loss of Delhomme really hurts them, not just because he was playing great, but he took pressure off that running game, a running game that really started to develop early in this year. Defensively, they are a mess. They can't stop you running it. They can't stop you throwing it. They've got 2 sacks this year. Neither of them have come from Julius Peppers. I don't know what to tell you. Arizona was a team that I thought was going to be improved. Do I see him getting to 4-2? Yeah, I do. I think they beat Carolina.
Yeah, no time to get scared right now. Kurt Warner is the man. And don't forget, he's hoping that the heart of that Arizona offense will be back, and that's Anquan Bolden. But so far, the last couple of weeks, Larry Fitzgerald has done a terrific job. 19 catches, 256 yards, and 1 touch. Now, Edgerrin James, more power is needed between the tackles. If he gives them that, this offense could be unstoppable. Carlos Danby, Hub right now is playing super along with Adrian Wilson, the safety. I like the matchups all the way across the board, Arizona in a walk.
Bunch of kids on that Arizona defense are coming on. The defensive line is looking great. They got one of the best secondaries in the NFC. Guys, I picked the Panthers to go to the Super Bowl. I didn't know they were this soft. I got to take Arizona here, too.
All right, we're going to take a break. Tommy and I are going to go at it as we go to break. Take a look at 3 more games here on the docket. What do you have here? What do you have for
I got
us?
the Chargers, the Seahawks, and the Giants, if that's okay with you.
That's all right.
I'm going the
Mike
other
Toupee
way.
apparently disagrees, though.
That's Toupee and I going with Oakland, New Orleans, Atlanta.
Dan's on that limb all by himself again. And one thing about this top, guys, everybody knows it's for real.
We're coming back with our locks of the week, and wait till you see Tom's picks. That's certainly, those are for real.
Cleveland rocks.
Listen to this place.
Loudly. The Indians have had teams on their tail all year long. Not a flinch, not a waver.
Slugs that are just buzzing all around it.
Did you see that game?
It's a game winner!
This year's team is on a mission. For the rest of us, chance to join their wild ride.
The magic is back here at Jacobs Field.
There's only one postseason. There's only one Fall Classic. There's only one October.
Pro Football Weekly is brought to you by Chevy. Log on now to ChevyDrivesChicago.com. Check us out today. ChevyDrivesChicago.com. And by Gas City. Gas City keeps you on the move with over 50 locations to always go the extra mile for you.
And our fantasy player for Week 5, the dreamy one. He is Tom Brady, 22-38, 265, 3 touchdowns, no picks. The guy is phenomenal.
Goodbye, everybody.
All right, take a look at the records there. I do believe Silky Sullivan is now 22 games under 500, and we are slowly shrinking your head smaller and smaller on the graphic board.
Are we okay?
I don't know. I mean,
we just get along from now on.
What's in the offing for this week?
We're supposed to save this for the wives. Apparently,
That's right. I'm sorry.
All right, let's
I'm
get.
taking a little personal now.
All right, let's get to the locks of the week. As you write another word that I can't say on television on a piece of paper to me. Here's the locks of the week. What do you guys like?
I'm a lot like the Chargers. I'm a front runner.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with them. I think they open up a can on the Oakland Raiders.
Chicago Bears turned it around in the second half last Sunday. They continue this weekend.
And I think the Packers opened a can in the second half last Sunday, and the Redskins are going to shut it on them this week.
And I love Arizona, Kurt Warner versus whoever they throw out at quarterback there. Before we exit, Hub, give the fantasy owners out there, the players you expect to have some big games this week.
You know, guys, this will surprise some people because Baltimore is struggling on offense. We all know that. But Willis McGahee is actually putting together a pretty nice season for himself, over 400 yards on the ground. He gets the Rams 27th versus the run. Look for Larry Johnson to bounce back this week. Bengals 29th versus the run. There is no hotter running back in the NFL than the Dolphins' Ronnie Brown, 571 yards in the last 3 games. Also, the Cardinals' Larry Fitzgerald at wide receiver. And the Giants' Brandon Jacobs had a nice comeback from injury last week. Get him in your lineup again this week, too.
All right, are we good? This is a good little show?
Yeah.
Friends?
Love you,
All right.
man.
All right, love you too, brother. That's going to do it for this show. For the best coverage of the NFL, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We talk a lot about grooming, a lot of weird stuff. Log on to ProFootballWeekly.com to get your own copy of the magazine. Give Tommy a call at 1-800-FOOTBALL. For the hardest working man in show business, Tom Waddle, Dan Hampton, Hub Arkish, I am Pat Boyle. We may or may not see you next week. So long, everybody.
Of course we'll see you next week.
Haven't ordered dinner yet? Then try Giordano's, Chicago's famous stuffed pizza. We made it good. You made it famous.
Hi, is there anything
Hey, what's
I can
that
help
mean? Our goal is the best network here.
Oh, well, the best network means uninterrupted service.
It's quite a goal, right?
Yes, well, for uninterrupted service, our cell tower engineers...
They sound important.
Yes, well, they really know their areas. Many of...
You're the engineers.
Yes, they live in the area.
They live in the area, so that's smart. Smart, so smart.
Give you uninterrupted service.
Uninterrupted.
Yeah.
I like that.
U.S. Cellular is wireless where you matter most.
American Chartered Bank is a proud sponsor of Pro Football Weekly on Comcast Sportsnet. American Chartered, the bank for your business. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
We're thrilled you've elected to join us tonight for exciting Major League Soccer action as the Chicago Fire meet DC United here on Comcast Sportsnet Chicago. Our